you. Do you bleed? It's Bad Movies Rule. And this is episode 150. And if you haven't bled yet from some of this trash we've gone through, it's gonna happen today because we're talking about the biggest piece of DCEU garbage ever produced, Batman versus Superman. Let's go! Woo!
Captain Marvel, check your vag at the front door. Because your movie sucks.
Oh my God. Guys, can you believe it? 150 episodes.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm actually excited to be here today for this one.
Yeah,
It's really great to be on Good Movies Rule. I finally have been on an episode, and I'm really excited.
That's great.
Will you
great.
stop? Look at him. Dude's got a full-on Superman cape on.
Yes. It's
Got
the
the
one.
BVS
It's actually
hat
the
on.
one from the movie, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah, if you
It's the BV. Oh my gosh, it is the BVS Superman cape. Accurate cape and everything.
Oh, man.
And the hat, the BVS hat.
Yep, I got it all, baby.
As I was saying before the show, I said, "Well, Kurt, if not now, when?"
And if not who, then who?
Then if not you,
Yeah.
right? So Kurt is here, of course, Mr. Superman himself. We also got the Human Movie Database, Ryan Farrell, in the house. What's up, dude?
How you doing over there?
Fantastic. I'm just, I sit here. This is gonna be me every time we hit every 50 episodes. 200. 250. I can't believe it.
You're just chomping at the bit.
I can't believe it, man. I'm
Yeah.
chomping at the bit.
That's great.
And I'm happy that you're here.
Do I got to come sit between you and Bob?
No, in fact, I'm positioned right here between.
We've had many arguments on this movie, and we plant our flags where we plant them, and we respect each other
That's
for
right.
it. So
And so I think right here between the two people that love this movie is right where I belong. Because I've never wavered in my opinion, and Bob will be the first to attest. From the time this movie has come out, I have said that it sucks, and I've stood by that, and you have enjoyed it, and you have stood by that.
absolutely.
And so,
I'm planting my flag.
here we go. I'm
All right.
This is why we saved BVS
This is it.
for a big episode,
Yeah.
because I knew
Yeah.
it was going to be a mega throwdown.
Because this isn't BVS. This is Hauser v. Hauser.
V. Kurt,
Yeah.
That's right.
refereed by Ryan Farrell.
So Kurt's Wonder Woman in this. Wandering.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Like, he's dressed like Superman. I think you're Wonder Woman in this.
Oh, hey, it's okay.
And
That's all right.
special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin over here.
Oh no! That's I'm sorry.
He
That's
looks like one.
that's Christopher Nolan's fanboy.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Dude,
Yes.
you even got me.
He does.
He did.
He's got the
Because
dark-
I did.
Because I
got-
wore the Dark Knight shirt.
I got
Yeah.
massive
So then do you
shade
not
to
like
throw
this
at
movie?
the Dark Knight series.
I mean, it was produced by Nolan, right?
It was
It
produced
shares
by
a
Nolan.
screenwriter with that movie that you're wearing, The Dark Knight, right there.
Sure, David S. Goyer.
David S. Goyer.
Yeah,
But also,
I
he
mean-
wrote like Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
I was going to say, I don't think we're going to throw the genius of the Dark Knight all into David S. Goyer's court.
No, I don't think we
I had a
No.
Goyer removed once.
Did you?
Yeah.
How was it?
Awful. It was awful.
They should have had one excised from
It was
this.
better than Ghost Rider.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, let's just dive straight into the vitals here, guys. If you're first time joining the show, just is what we're going to do. We're going to tell you all the particulars that you need to know, all the vitals for the movie, and then we are going to go scene by scene through the film, and we're going to basically break down everything. We'll roast what needs to be roasted. We'll give praise where that's due, and then at the end, we're going to give out some awards. Who was the best? Who was the worst? And then we'll deliver our final verdict. Is this a bad movie straight up, a bad movie that rules, or a good movie? You guys ready to jump in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have been waiting for this one for a long time, buddy.
I know you
We've
have.
been talking
gonna
about
say it.
this for, I don't know,
Months.
Since, not
8
even months. We've been,
years.
I was going to say.
No,
like
we've
episode 8, I think we've been talking about this
No,
one.
we have been talking about this literally for 8 years.
Okay.
James was
This is-
infuriated with
this
me because
is
it was a
amongst-
good movie the second I got out of the theater. And he was like, it's impossible.
That's true.
Amongst our circle of friends, this is probably the most debated movie
Oh, yeah.
of all time.
So let's get into it.
So let's order some jalapeno poppers and get some freaking
Absolutely.
big gulps from 7-Eleven because it's going to be a while.
The movie was directed by Zack Snyder.
Oh, one of your favorite filmmakers, James.
Yeah, we know it's directed by Zack Snyder because there's been 4 versions of it. And that's how you know it's a Zack Snyder movie.
To be fair,
There's 2.
To be fair.
Okay. Sorry.
There's 2.
to be fair, Warner Brothers keeps interfering with Zack Snyder. Maybe if they just let him do his job, It'd be all right.
Maybe if he had a backbone, he could just stand up to the studios and release the movie he wants to release.
I mean, I don't know.
Because it's weird. There do seem to be some directors that are able to do that.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange?
Yes.
Which director?
Some of them.
Tarantino.
Yeah. Dennis of what do you say his name?
Dennis the Menace?
No, Denis Villeneuve.
That guy, Denis Villeneuve.
Who the hell is Denis
The
Villeneuve?
Finchers of the world, the Coens of the world.
Not David Fincher.
David Fincher?
David Fincher.
He
got
didn't
his
get to
butt
that point in his career.
He got his butt handed to him on Alien 3.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
now.
Raked over the coals for Alien 3.
Zack Snyder was this wasn't the first movie he ever directed. This wasn't his Alien 3.
No.
Okay.
But he got his director's cut of this film because they're like, oh, wait a minute. This movie, oh, wait, oh.
Do you think the studio tells Quentin Tarantino what he can and can't have in his movies?
No.
Because he's got balls. This is what I'm saying.
Maybe.
This is what I'm saying.
He also doesn't work. He also doesn't work with any big studios.
Well,
I just feel like he's the nice guy.
who, Zach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you watch him in
Yeah.
interviews and stuff, he's not really a super like
pushy guy.
You
Right.
want to know why? Because he's a humble Wisconsinite. That's why.
Okay.
He is from Wisconsin.
He is.
I like him a little more than I guess.
Green Bay native.
The Green Bay native.
He's a Green Bay native.
Movie was written by Chris Terrio, who you will know also co-wrote Argo, a really great movie, and then
Won an Oscar for Argo.
And then Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. Not so great movie, also written by Chris Terrio. And as we already mentioned, David S. Goyer, who has brought you such classics as Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, and Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., starring David Hasselhoff.
And has also brought you Batman Begins.
And Blade Trinity.
And
Blade Trinity.
we already went over one of those movies.
Yeah, we did. We did. Movie starred Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, and Jesse Eisenberg, along with a slew of others like Lawrence Fishburne and Jeremy Irons. I'm sure we'll get into all of that. Maybe the biggest budget we've had yet on this podcast at $250 million. Million dollars.
and that doesn't even cover advertising costs.
No. And the box office for this movie did not hit $1 billion, which is a bummer because Phantom Menace, which we just covered a couple weeks ago, did hit $1 billion off $150 million. So,
Yeah.
a little bit better.
But it took Phantom Menace a little while.
It did. $872 million was the final box office, so about $500 million more than the budget. So it probably made them some money. Yeah. But here's the thing: it sits tied with Phantom Menace. They're both a 6.5 on IMDb right now. So equally rated on IMDb.
Phantom Menace deserves to sit at a 3.
I know you
Man.
love that movie.
I hate
That's
that
rough.
movie.
The audience score for this on Rotten Tomatoes is 63%. So far we haven't hit something that would make it
I
qualify.
was going to say,
for the
where
show.
are we going with this? How did it get here?
Right here. You ready?
Yeah.
29% critics rating
Yeah.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
Smacked.
29.
This movie got raked.
It did.
Raked over the coals.
That's really low. But that's how it qualifies. So, we have people here of all varying opinions. So don't get upset if you're like, Batman vs. Superman shouldn't be on this show. We talk about movies that have poor ratings.
This is another one of those examples, too, where it has a 6.5 on IMDb, but it's one of those movies where if you look at the amount of 1s and 10s that it has, it's not like everyone was just like, oh, we're all just going to give it a 7.
Right.
It's like it has a bunch of 1s and a bunch of 10s.
Right.
Makes me wonder how Thor Dark World still scaped by with 60% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, well, that's just I'm saying this thing's twice as highly rated by critics as
I want to know. I really question some of those Marvel movies and those critics.
Marvel is not on trial.
Give me some good reviews and slander the other guy.
Objection.
We'll have Thor the Dark
How
World.
did Captain Marvel get past the Rotten Tomatoes meter?
God.
It was fan
So far,
bots.
all of
Fan
his
bots destroyed
relevance.
Fan bashing.
Relevance.
Oh, fan
Objection.
bashing. Fan bashing.
Relevance.
But Batman vs. Superman is accurate.
Yeah.
But fan bashing, if it's Captain Marvel, anything to do with Marvel. I got it. DC is like, oh, that's totally accurate. They suck balls. Marvel, beautiful. Love it very much. It's great. I like it better than China. I especially love the combat in Dark Knight.
That's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate.
That was the
Garbage
most.
Batman combat ever put on film.
All right. Here's the thing.
And this is coming from a guy whose favorite movie from 2009 to 2013 was The Dark Knight.
It was. I'm not going to lie. But going back to that movie, I go, why is Batman's combat so garbage in these movies?
Yeah, the reason Dark Knight.
I can't see anything in Batman Begins.
It's poorly filmed.
Yeah.
Batman Begins is poorly filmed combat.
Yeah.
So is Dark Knight. Poorly filmed
Dark
combat.
Knight is great film combat.
I didn't even see Two-Face
your
fall off the
weekend this
damn
weekend?
building. I didn't see Two-Face because I love close-ups. I love close-ups. Me and my cat love close-ups. My name is Christopher Nolan, and me and my cats love close-ups. I don't care if no one understands my films as long as me and my cat do.
So Batman versus Superman. Here's
How about that movie?
So far, and I love it. Keep the energy exactly where it is. But every defense of BVS can't be an attack on Marvel. Marvel's not on trial.
I'm saying the critics are on
is, though.
trial.
Yes.
Marvel's not on trial.
Right.
The critics and Disney are on trial, not the brand Marvel.
I promise we'll have Captain Marvel, the first one. I haven't seen Marvel's yet. Probably
Captain
even
Marvel
worse.
doesn't qualify.
This should qualify.
It
should.
We'll have Dark World on. We'll do those and we'll blast the crap out of them.
Yeah,
I
we're going to
promise.
blast them.
I promise. Okay.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Let's do this before we dive into the plot here.
Put Tiki Wahidi on trial, too.
If there are ways that you would like to communicate with the show and you haven't been able to yet, or you would say, hey, I want to reach out, I want to give my opinion on things, email the show. This show is trash@gmail.com. We will answer your emails on one of our mailbag segments, or you can even call, leave us a voicemail. Don't worry, Bob's not going to pick up the phone and answer. It'll go straight to voicemail.
I'm not going to lie. Some people might want to call and actually have that happen.
262-757-8567. That'll all be in the show notes for you if you don't remember it. Take a look down there. And lastly, if you want to support the show, back the show, be part of the foundation of what we're building here at BMR, you can join our Patreon as little as $3 a month. There are different tiers. You get all kinds of bonus content like extra shows, uncut versions of this show, and ad-free versions will be put up there as well for our patrons. And then you can also vote on upcoming episodes, all kinds of things,
Yes.
and do awards. And so get on there. It's patreon.com/badmoviesrule. That's also in the show notes. All right, time to pay some bills, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys ready to dive into the plot?
Oh, yeah.
This
Let's
should
dive in.
Take about 4 hours. Let's talk about the needlessly complicated.
Which part of the plot, though? Because there's lots of plots and
beginning.
subplots of this plot,
Yes.
of the main plot.
The beginning is where we're going to start.
I kind of felt like there was just one plot.
Was there?
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman.
Well,
that was the plot.
That was the plot.
Yeah, but there's all these intricacies that David S. Goyer wove into the tapestry of this screenplay.
You think it was him?
No,
Or was it Chris Terrio?
I don't think it was. So we're talking about it's either the guy that wrote somehow Palpatine has returned, or it's the guy that wrote
Who CGI Blade's eyes on the ending credits of
Yes.
Blade Trinity because Wesley Snipes refused to open his
He
eyes.
refused to open his eyes. How about that? All right, let's dive in.
Well, here we go.
Hey, here's a perfect and apt way to start this movie, considering they go back to this well so many times. They start with a dream sequence.
Oh.
Let's do a modern shooting of Thomas and Martha Wayne, but let's shoot it like it's a music video. Let's shoot the whole movie like it's a music video. Wouldn't that be fun and enjoyable for everybody?
That's
I
what
enjoyed
you
it.
get.
I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, I thought it was beautiful too. It was the most well-executed operatic death of Martha and Thomas Wayne.
Well,
Listen,
How did you know it was a dream sequence? He can't just have a flashback.
because he elevates,
Yeah.
because the bats
He
just
elevates from
elevate
the bats.
him.
The bats carry him out. It's not okay.
This is because
if
he-
it had Tarantino's name on it, you would be okay with this.
And he literally said it was a dream. First
Who
of all,
said it was a dream?
he did. He said
He
it
did,
in
right?
my dream.
Yeah, in my dreams.
In my
Yeah.
dreams. Okay,
Yes.
fine. I'll
He
let you
says
have
it.
one.
All right.
Why is it? What
Rack
law?
up the
What
side that
law?
sucks.
It's still-
is it okay
it's still
not to have a
beautiful,
dream
though.
sequence? I want to know the laws.
I still think it's shot well.
A dream sequence is perfectly useful narrative device to use in movies. But to have 4 different dream sequences in one film is a bit of overuse of the same
Oh, only one
device.
person can
Over-
dream.
and-
Is that how it is,
If
James?
it's not Tarantino,
Yeah.
you can't have it.
You can't have
Can't
more than
have
one person
Tarantino.
dreaming in
Tarantino's
this
the only one allowed to
movie.
do dreams and flashback sequences.
Tarantino's never put 4 dream sequences in one
Tarantino's
movie.
allowed to start a movie off of a guy getting railed by a bunny rabbit and then end the movie with suicide.
Let's use evidence that's never happened to support our argument. Let's do that.
I'm gonna need a gavel.
Good luck.
I'm gonna need a gavel over here,
Besides
guys.
seeing the dream sequence, okay, fine,
right,
the dream
here's
sequence.
my
You're
problem.
saying it was poorly made scene.
I just want movies. The whole thing is so stylized and Zack Snyder has this thing about it being, it's a comic book, so it has.
Did
to
you
look,
see 300?
Yeah, I know. Same thing.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's
it's
what-
supposed to be.
I said earlier I don't like his movies for this reason.
but he
okay?
likes 300.
I like 300, but besides that, I just like let's go back to Superman, like the Christopher Reeves movies. It's just shot straight like a regular movie.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's
It is
beautifully
Yeah.
shot, straight. It's not like slow motion pearls falling into cascading off of a giant close up of an eyeball, and it just shoot the movie.
So
shoot the movie.
stylistically, we're off on a bad foot here
For me.
with James.
Yes.
This is what we got.
And here's the thing.
I mean, there were a lot of pearls. I will give you that.
Flashing back to killing Bruce Wayne's parents. Again, these poor people. No one has been murdered on screen more times than Thomas and Martha Wayne.
I'll give you that
How
one.
many times do we have to watch these people get killed?
Well, evidently, every time there's a movie about Batman, matter of fact, every time there's a movie in Gotham City, we need to find out about Thomas and Martha getting murdered.
I'm so tired of it.
It was
they
almost.
got murdered in the Joker.
I was
movie,
gonna say
Joaquin Phoenix.
they're even murdered in Joker
Right.
with Joaquin Phoenix.
He doesn't do it, but
No,
obviously.
but I'm just saying, like, once again, it's like
Spoiler
there's
alert.
another moment, and yeah, here's.
But the Batman Robert Pattinson didn't do that.
I'm tired
I guess
of
it didn't.
getting
Yeah,
killed.
that's
It was
true.
the first
that
one
was the
that didn't
first
do it.
Batman product that did not have anything to do with Thomas and Martha.
I guess I will say it was my favorite visual.
I thought
they got murdered.
visually
got
it was
murdered,
beautiful
right.
because I felt like I was watching an actual comic book.
For all the times they got murdered, this one was my
This
favorite.
was, yeah.
Yes, it was very
my
beautifully
favorite.
well done.
So he
What's your favorite Thomas Martha murder?
just the first time I saw it and the only time I needed to see it. The
So,
one in
like-
Batman 89.
Like 89.
Where she looks like she's
89?
falling off a chair.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
That's it. And then hey
That's
kid.
the one. That's
Yep,
the one.
yep.
That's the one that did it for me.
That was it. Hey kid, you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Come on, Jack, let's go. Yeah, I mean it's a good one.
Updraft. Okay,
Now
let's get to the updraft. He's running through. He's still in a dream because everything's in slow motion. That's how you run in dreams. He's running away from his parents' funeral. He falls into the back. Again, something we've seen 1,000 times. And the bats, the welling up of the bats and the updrafts of their wings lift Bruce Wayne up into the sky.
It's a bat vortex.
the bat vortex.
Yeah, the
Up
vortex.
to the light.
I'm like,
the
this is
vortex.
perfect. So far, we've seen Thomas and Martha get killed again, and we've got the wrong character flying, and we're 5 minutes into the movie. So this is going to be
Wrong
fantastic.
character flying.
Not even
Yes.
5.
Batman and Superman, one flies, one doesn't. And we've got Batman flying in this movie before Superman does. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Bats elevated him to the surface, but
Right.
okay.
All right, sure.
And it's a dream sequence.
And it's
That
a
can't
dream
happen.
sequence.
That
That can't
doesn't happen
happen.
in dreams.
I walk in my dreams.
Well,
I
I'll
don't
tell you,
fly.
everybody. I'll tell you, everybody. It was good.
Okay.
That was it.
All right, good.
Because it's like they didn't spend a lot of time on it. I appreciate that they didn't make a whole flashback thing out of it, and they just kind of did it over the opening credits.
Sure.
Because yes, Thomas and Martha getting murdered on screen, the whole Batman backstory thing, done with it. Don't need it.
Yeah. That's why I liked it in Spider-Man Homecoming. They didn't have to go through the Uncle Ben and the spider biting him and all this. He was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great. We don't need it. We know.
Right,
We
right.
know.
You know how you became Spider-Man.
We know.
So
Let's
I
just
think,
do it.
I think tying it into just the opening credits is like, hey, this is our new Batman, post Nolan. Let's just throw it in real quick over the credits.
It would have been the perfect time to not do it because this version of Batman is supposed to have already been Batman for 10, 20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
So
yeah.
if there's ever a
So
time to just step in and he's just Batman, this would have been the movie.
This would have been it.
to do it.
Yes.
So anyway.
Yes.
But we open in another flashback right after that flashback. Now it cuts back to the end of Man of Steel from a different perspective, and we're in Superman versus Zod Day from
Right.
the end of Man of Steel.
Yeah,
essentially. And the city is being decimated. A big criticism people had at the end of Man of Steel was the disregard for human life that Zack Snyder showed, where they're just knocking down skyscrapers and all these people are dying.
I don't think it was a disregard for human life in the sense of he was trying to say that Superman's more of a human being and makes mistakes in that movie, which I think.
Well, even Zack said after the fact that they're not doing that anymore. So even Zack acknowledged that they shouldn't
he
have done that.
acknowledged it, but I think he was trying to say is like this hero is not like Christopher Reeve where he's truth, justice, and the American way. He's just more like I'm from another planet.
Right,
I'm,
not as good.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
Well, I
raised
think
by
it
humans.
sets up. I think it sets up the fact that he has the ability to be human.
Right.
Even though he's not human, because he in this movie he finally starts to, at least in my eyes, he seems depressed. Like, well, crap, I didn't mean to do all that.
Right.
And
It's like-
Part of what I hate about this movie is that Superman's depressed the whole time.
I like it because
I
I
hate it.
feel like it draws him into a more human.
Relatable.
Yes, there's
More
a bigger
relatable.
connection there. We've all been depressed
But
before.
he's not human.
He's not,
No,
but he's
but that's
raised
what
by
makes
humans.
it cool. That's what makes him like, oh.
I disagree.
Like, I mean,
What I want to say,
there's a lot of movies where he has kids, and we don't go like, oh, Superman.
I guess
he obviously has kids like normal human beings. I mean, we don't
guess
know that that's what happens, but
A perfect example of that, look at the way Zod was and look at the way Superman was. If Superman was not raised by the Kents, how do you think he would behave?
And
And then you look at Zod, who's like hell-bent in destruction. He goes, my purpose is for my people.
Well, right. I'm not saying Superman should be hell-bent on destruction or anything like that, but what I'm saying is I prefer a Superman, and maybe this is just because I grew up with the best Superman of all time.
No, Christopher Reeve,
That-
on record, is the best Superman of all time.
I just want a movie where Superman loves being Superman.
Sure.
And Superman's not burdened by depression and not like, oh, I don't even want to be Superman anymore. And oh, I'm so sad all the time. And I'm like, I just want the truth, justice, American way, positivity. Now, there's a moment in Superman 2 where it gets dark for him, right? And that's fine. But for 90% of that movie, he's like, let's go. I'm Superman. I'm kicking the bad guy's ass. Like, that's what I love about Superman. This dark, low saturated colored suit, depressed, mopey Superman sucks balls to me. I hated that aspect of this movie.
I
Did
see.
you?
Hated it.
I
So
respect
did
your
you?
opinion.
Before going into this movie, and we don't want to get in the weeds on Man of Steel.
Yeah.
But what were your thoughts on Man of Steel?
I like Man of Steel.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't, and you remember I liked it.
Yeah,
We
we've
went
had
to-
debate on the ending the whole
The
time.
only thing I didn't like about Man of Steel was the wanton chaos and destruction. I'm like, Superman doesn't save anybody. In Superman 2, when the city's getting destroyed because of this big fight he's having with Zod and the other two people, he would stop mid-fight and save people. And then Zod's like, hey, we've discovered his weakness. He cares about these people. And they would start trying to cause chaos that would
Sure. Right.
make him have to save people. But the whole time, he's just ripping Zod through buildings and people are getting killed and he doesn't give a shit.
I don't think he doesn't give a shit. I think he's just
The way it's portrayed
Right.
is
So-
that he doesn't seem to care.
Two things for this movie. I feel like one, the destruction sets up the legalities of being able to go after him, which I think is kind of interesting politically.
Yeah.
On do we go after him because he's technically an alien? He doesn't. We don't own him.
Yeah.
He doesn't owe us anything.
Yeah.
How do we control him? Which I think also helps drive the character arc of Batman, because now he's going,
this guy is going unpunished.
yeah, this guy's going unpunished. This isn't right. We're not able to do this. So I feel like that was kind of a cool way to set up
That's
the
like
story.
Yeah, like the whole opening sequence right now from
Well, we're getting
Bruce's
lost in the weeds
perspective.
here. Yeah. Well, go ahead. Finish
Yeah,
your
no,
thought.
like with
Finish
this
your
whole opening sequence from Bruce's perspective, the
Right.
destruction of Metropolis, and he's trying to get,
thought. Right.
everybody out of that building.
No, that makes sense why Bruce would be like, who is this guy? Because
Yeah.
he's literally, there's buildings falling down around him. One thing that I did laugh is he calls Wayne Tower in Metropolis and he's like, get everybody out of the building now. And they show all the executives looking out the window and there's this huge world
Yes.
building engine and destruction. I'm like, why aren't you already out
running.
of the
Yeah.
building?
Yeah.
Right.
And the guy's like, oh, I guess we should get out of the building. Like,
All right, everybody, get out of here.
get out.
Yeah.
you idiots. Why are
Yeah.
you still in the building? You look outside. I'd be 10 blocks away the second that
I'd
thing
already
showed
be in
up.
my car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
just
I'm
heading
saying,
out.
dude.
The second the world building machine even comes out of the sky, I'm like, I'm going home for the day.
Because it sat there for a while in
It
Man of
does.
Steel
It
before
does.
anything happened.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
be like, see you guys on Monday.
The worst part.
I got a little PTO I can take. I'll see you later.
My internship ain't worth this. I'm out.
And then Jack stays in there as Batman's running towards a collapsing building after driving, through the city. He's yelling, Jack! And I actually thought a Joker, Jack is dead, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way Jack's still alive.
Man.
It's a great opening sequence, though.
Into the rubble and he sees Mr. Keefe, one of his employees' legs are crushed and he deadlifts an iron bar off of his legs and he saves him. He's like, you're the boss.
They call you Wally, right?
Yeah, right, Wally Keefe. And then he saves this little girl and this is when he looks up and sees Superman from far away.
Love that shot.
It's a great shot.
Ben Affleck looking up and seeing Superman re-entering the
He just
atmosphere.
is like, kill Superman.
Yeah.
And I get why he's upset, but at the same time, I'm like, you're supposed to be a detective. Like, you're just assuming this is all his fault. Like, anyone that blames Superman for what happened, it's clearly Zod's fault. What happened?
Oh, yeah.
that day, right?
Well, and again, I just feel like that's making him like. So I explained it to Evelyn this way. she really was like, I don't understand why Batman's more angry in this one. And I said, well, he's much older and he just doesn't care in this movie. He's more jaded. He's more angry. And so like, I kind of like that about this Batman. I was like, this is cool. This is like a no holds bar. Yeah. He's going to do whatever he's got to do to stop crime and stop these guys from, That
was an interesting take on his character because I'm like, he's like, gloves are off. I put you in jail. You come back. I pull like weeds. I pulled you out. You run the one goes out. I'm tired of no, I'm just going to beat the. Yeah. I'm either going to kill you or beat the piss out of you.
I'll just say it now because I'll get this out of the way. I hate that he kills people. And I know, and people, even some of our patrons wrote in today going, I know everyone complains that he uses guns and kills people in the movie, but Batman in 89 killed people. And I'm like, go back and listen to our 89 episode. I hated it in that movie too. So I'll say it every time. I know that there was a part in comic history where Batman didn't have a no-kill rule, right? And then
1939 to only about 1941, I think.
Yeah.
It was only the first 2 years of Batman as a character.
Right.
But in every single major film, he has killed people.
But the filmmakers continue to break that rule, okay? I mean, he did in Batman and Batman Returns.
He did in all three Nolan movies.
Did he kill people in the dark? Oh, he didn't save
kill people.
Liam Neeson.
Are we going to go down that road?
Well, I don't want to get into a whole.
But it portrays his no kill rule is the thing,
right? Because the whole thing about Joker is I'm going to make you break your one rule.
He blew up Ra's al Ghul's building.
Yeah,
he set the place on fire, blew guys out the door.
He didn't mean to.
Then what's the thing about Superman?
All right. Well,
what's the argument?
Look, but at least the Dark Knight. Hold on.
He drove Talia al Ghul off a frickin' freeway. I'm sorry.
There's
so
airbags.
If I go on the freeway tomorrow and drive someone off the freeway, I didn't do it. The ditch killed them, not me. That's where you're going with that?
I'm not defending Nolan.
I'm not saying you. I'm talking to this guy.
I'm saying at least in the Dark Knight, they made it a plot point that the Joker was trying to get him to break his rule of killing people.
That's true.
Right?
Hand-to-hand
they make
combat.
it a plot point in Nolan's trilogy. It's the first time it was a concrete plot point in Batman in cinema was his no-kill rule, which was a plot point in the 40s as Batman as a character.
Drove his tumbler into the front end of a semi and crushed the cowboy hat dude.
Yes, he did.
That is murder.
But
well,
he'll break bones. I don't know if that guy's dead.
In hand-to-hand combat, he won't kill you.
I'm not talking about the fact that he killed someone or caused an event or killed someone or any
10-minute sidebar.
No, we're talking. This is just kind of arcing over Batman in and of itself. Where like in BVS, he kills people. Because actually, here's the other thing. Everybody,
he clearly kills people.
I'm pretty pro Batman killing people. If I were to make a Batman movie, I would totally make Batman kill people.
Yeah,
that's my.
I'm just
take
saying,
on
don't
it.
deny the fact that he killed in Nolan's trilogy. He killed in every single major film.
And
I'm not denying that he killed. The point is that there's the whole thing about Batman as a character in comic history, cinema history, whatever you want to call it. Batman had a concrete no-kill rule that was very well publicized in the 40s. Nolan was the only filmmaker to actually make it a plot point.
No, he wasn't. Paul Dini and the animated series did it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
See, I didn't pay that close attention to the animated series.
Comics had a no-kill rule too.
They did.
Yeah. But my favorite. So I will say this. I'm not just singling out this Batman for it and letting Keaton off the hook because I hated it there too. And so I'll just say it now and get out of the way because I don't want to bring this up every time we get to a part where he kills somebody because there's like 6 times in this movie.
No, we don't have. We just get it out of the way now.
Just get it out of the way now. I hate it. Okay. I really love Affleck as Batman. That's one of my favorite things about this movie.
I love Batfleck.
But I hate when Batman kills people, period. Let's just get that out of the way. Okay. Probably because my favorite iteration of Batman is Kevin Conroy's Batman and the Arkham games and the Arkham cartoons or the animated series. And they certainly never killed anybody. And I love that version of Batman personally. Find a way to do it and be better than the villains are and don't kill people. Anyway, all right. So Lois Lane is in Africa to interview some warlord. And, I'm assuming he's the leader of some kind of terrorist group or whatever. And so she's there asking him questions. Oh, I didn't know you were going to send a lady. I'm not a lady. I'm a journalist. You're a lady and a journalist.
Classic.
Okay?
Classic.
Photographer, Jimmy Olsen.
CIA agent.
Who just gets gunned down. Okay. Just like that. Has the most obvious tracker in the history of the world. Talk about it's this
like an
big.
anal probe.
It's huge. It's huge. It flashes and it makes noise. Beep, 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 beep. Like I thought of Owen Wilson. Like, would you get this from Radio Shack in 1974? Why would you need a tracker this big?
And it's
I didn't
almost
think about that, but that's great.
flamethrower Russian bad guy. He almost knew exactly where the tracker would be. He picks it right up. Goes, I found it.
So they start shooting everybody and killing everyone. So the mercs kill everybody.
This was so poorly edited because
Well, they chopped the crap.
they chopped the crap out of it. This is supposed to set up the whole point of this film is spoiler, Lex Luthor is trying to frame Superman.
Yeah.
This whole point of this village scene is his cohorts led by this guy,
these Russian mercs.
this Russian merc. He and they don't even show this. They only show him wiping out like a handful of soldiers. But they wipe out the whole village and blow torch the village because they know Superman's going to show up and save Lois.
Right.
So they want to make him look like they did it,
Right.
but they chopped the hell out of it.
Then they get a trauma actor to come in before Congress and go, Superman showed up and everybody was dead.
Right,
Which it makes no sense in the movie by cutting out the flamethrower part because all we see is a bunch of people get gunned down and then this trauma actor coming in front of Congress and you go, what, do they think Superman shot everybody?
Yes.
Right.
So Superman shows up because at this point we have Lois Lane, who's now gunned ahead by the Warlord. Right. Superman shows up, knocks the Warlord through the wall, and it cuts to black.
Right. Right.
That's it, and that's the end of the scene.
It's a cool moment where Lois just lets go of the guy's arm.
Yeah,
she nods.
Sure.
Just like, okay, I know it's going to happen.
But
I love
them.
that's the first inkling of this movie of like, oh, this is not gonna go where it needs to go. Is like right here where it just cuts to black, and then it's Congress hearing like, oh, we gotta hold Superman accountable. He murdered this whole village in Africa. Like, why did you just come to that conclusion?
If you flamethrow everybody, then you can make the case that it was his heat vision or whatever, which
That's
makes
what they
sense.
did in the director's cut.
But we talk about the theatrical.
No,
but
we're talking about the theatrical. I'm just
but just
saying.
like with Daredevil, if we need to reference the old one, we can. But I'm just saying, by taking that part out, it makes everybody seem really stupid. Because even back in the theater, I was like, everyone has bullet holes in them. What do they mean? Superman came
exactly.
down with 2 AK-47s and he was just like,
Right.
Well, they shot at him and it bounced off his
Lois
chest and it ricocheted back through them.
Right. Okay, fine.
That happened in a movie. Someone shot Superman and it ricocheted back to
So
him.
stupid.
Didn't it? That happened in Superman Returns, right?
No, I think the bullet just smashed against his eye. I don't know.
Talk about a movie I love.
Superman Returns?
Superman Returns.
The Brandon Routh.
Needs its day in court. He should have gotten at least one more, if not a whole trilogy of Superman movies. I loved that movie.
Yes.
It was awesome. And the Warner Brothers did him dirty.
You like Superman in that one? The
Yes.
deadbeat dad aspect, but
Not
you
the
can't
deadbeat
have
dad aspect.
can't have the brooding, sad Superman.
No, I actually hated the fact that they had a kid. That was my least favorite part of Superman
Yeah, me
Returns.
too.
I hated that part.
100%.
But
Me too.
He embodied super. He was the poster.
I will agree with you.
You know,
And I actually liked what's his name is Luthor
He would
in
have
that
shot
movie.
holes right through her.
Yeah.
Spacey, yeah.
Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Speaking of a plot point that doesn't make any sense, we find Lois in her bathtub in her apartment after all this, and Clark comes in. They have a heartfelt scene in the bathtub, or she's in the bathtub and says, "There's a cost. I don't think you can love me and still be you." And Superman's like, "I'll prove it right here in this bathtub. Let me get in.
Let me just flood the people below us.
Oh my god!
No
She
problem.
did say that. We're gonna flood the neighbor's bed. And he goes, "I don't care." I'm like, "You better pull out before you go, dude. He's gonna blast this whole apartment in half."
It's like, hold on, because Superman and Superman 2 had to lose all of his powers before he could safely sleep with Lois Lane.
Safely sleep.
Right?
Did anyone learn anything from the Hancock movie?
Safely sleep with, exactly.
And then Superman Returns, that kid it's supposed to be a continuation of Superman 2.
Right.
And so that kid is supposed to be the product of that night, right? Well, that's another thing I liked about Superman Returns is he was supposed to be the same Superman that Christopher Reeves was.
Right. He was the Superman Returns is essentially Donner's Superman 3.
Exactly.
Is what it is.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So, but in this case, they just take that plot point and throw that out the window. He's able to safely be with her, and that's fine.
Oh, fine. Whatever.
All right. Here's we get
Because
Batman.
Lord knows we didn't need more plot of then having him to have to also lose his powers
Having
to
to-
sleep with Amy Adams.
having to call a bathtub repairman.
All right, get out of here. I gotta blow holes in this. We shot their
I don't know,
television
Mr.
downstairs.
Kent. I don't know how this tub blasted off the bottom of the floor. It was completely bolted down. This is weird.
Can you imagine Kurt doing the plumbing for that?
That would be great.
The plumbing repair.
That would be Kurt's cameo.
All right. So here's our Batman intro. We get some cops walking into some abandoned
love this.
building. There was one aspect I hated, but this was cool. This was some Batman stuff. I like,
Yeah. No, it's great Batman stuff.
This belonged
Wait
in
a
a
minute.
Batman movie.
Something
It
else
makes
you
me
hated?
think of animated series.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
totally the same kind of
Wait a minute,
setup.
we have a Batman that's actually 6'4" and 250 pounds.
I know that looks like the Arkham
Wait a
Batman.
minute, we have an actual Batman.
I know, it's
guys.
awesome.
We have Batman. What happened is Christian Bale when he got cast up.
Christian Bale. Where he looked like he's
tell ya.
170 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
He was 220. He was literally
He
220.
looks tiny.
Well, now you got Vampire Twinkles, whatever his name is.
So these cops
Yeah,
walk
he
in.
was tiny.
The cops go downstairs and there's all these people locked in like a cage in a basement. They're like too afraid to come up because the bat is there.
Isn't one of them the actress from The Boys?
I actually couldn't tell because I've never watched The Boys.
Or
Yeah, the cop's like trying to open the door though, and he's like, "You guys should come on out." And
He's like,
they're like,
"No."
"No, we're good. We're good in here. We're gonna stay in here.
We're safer.
the cops come upstairs into the bathroom because they heard screaming and somebody getting beaten up, and there's a dude branded like chained to a radiator, and the cops are looking around. The only thing I didn't like is Batman would never be found by the cops. The fact that he's just hiding up in the corner, like this, so he could like swoop around and get out. If the cops were coming up, Batman would be gone. He would just be gone.
Yeah, but
I
it
know
made a good exit scene.
They want to show him. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's the
made for a good
I get
exit,
it.
sure.
Fine. This is like a tiny little nitpick, but for me, I'm like, it seemed a little goofy to have Batman going,
I don't
Up in the corner, like,
hope he doesn't look up here.
I'm not moving. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Don't breathe.
The question was, did Batman ever brand anybody in the comics, or is that a new thing for the new 52?
That I don't know. That's a great question. As far as the comics I've read, I never seen it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that was just maybe just been created for the film.
Again, I think it was just something to show that he's done. He's tired. He's marking these guys now at this point.
Yeah.
And the cop almost shoots the other cop in the face with a shotgun.
Yeah.
That would have actually hit. That shotgun blast would have actually probably hit him in the face.
dude
Like
was
there's
right
no
there.
Oh, all right. No, it was a great scene though.
But it looks like Batman.
I like how he's so cavalier about it. He's like, man, you almost shot me in the face.
Again.
Yeah. Again. Sorry.
Batman, we find it's tracking some Russian merc, which is the same Russian merc we find out from the desert as he's trying to track him down to find out who the white Portuguese.
Yeah, the white Portuguese.
Okay. And now we meet Lex Zuckerberg here at his or Lex Luthor. I'm sorry,
Bill Gates' goofy cousin.
No, Mark Luthor. Mark Zuckerberg. No, Lex Luthor. That's
Lex Luthor, yes.
they're basically portraying him like he's Mark Zuckerberg in this movie.
I'll give you that.
The young,
More like a Bill Gates
cool
insanity.
executive, and he's playing basketball in his office, and he's like, I hated the way they portrayed Lex in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it.
I don't know how to describe it either.
Different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I hated it, but it was different.
I hated the way.
I remember even when we saw it, you hated Lex.
Did I?
When we first saw it, I remember.
Okay.
You liked the movie, but didn't like Eisenberg. But if you've changed it, people.
I believe I changed it because I watched it
people are willing
again.
to change it. That's
Yeah, as I've gotten older, I like the portrayal more now than I did when I first saw it. I will give you that.
It's a classic Lex plot in the way that he weaves in and double crosses people. And so it's like his machinations are classic Lex Luthor.
Yeah, it made
but
him
I just hated how
more
he
of a
was.
brain instead of like the one thing I always liked about the animated series Superman was that Lex was almost equally as big as Superman.
Right.
And that was something that I always thought was really cool because he was maniacal in the sense of how, like you just said, how he intervened and intertwined all these different things to say, I got Superman.
Right.
You know, whereas this one, he was a little bit thin and kind of tiny, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
It seemed more Jokerish.
That's
me.
my big problem is he was acting more like the
That's
Joker.
what it came down to.
Or when he's like, oh no, the guy with the power. And I'm like, is this the Riddler?
Yeah.
Or is this Lex Luthor?
No,
You know, like-
he takes Lex Luthor and he turns him into it's like he has, Asperger's syndrome or OCD or any of that stuff, which is fine. But in the sense of you look at how Gene Hackman did it. Look at how Kevin Spacey did it.
supremely confident.
Yes.
Right.
Or even his portrayal in Smallville. I can't remember who played him in
Michael
Smallville.
Rosenbaum.
Like
Right.
egomaniacal for sure.
Egomaniacal for sure, but you got him even as he's, Jesse Eisenberg now has to do this speech at this, the event that he's having.
Right.
And even as he's giving the speech, he starts to get all
and ticks and twitches like he's.
and it's like you said, it's like,
Michael Rosenbaum's the best Lex Luthor.
He's great. Yeah.
yeah.
He was
And
also the voice of Flash in the Justice League series.
it's like I don't want to blame Jesse Eisenberg for it because I think his performance was good.
But I will.
But it's like the interpretation of it. It was just too much. Like once again, it's like, oh, we've been seeing this interpretation with villains. Like, oh, Heath Ledger really knocked it out as the Joker, so let's keep doing these villains where they're just all like tweaky, having Like
Ledger
freaking.
wasn't tweaky though.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't really that tweaky. He was insane.
Spastic.
He had the tongue flick thing.
Well, he did a tongue flick, but this was on a whole nother level.
It was certainly seemed more natural and subtle. This seemed very forced.
Right. I guess I didn't catch the little subtleness that Heath Ledger did, but this was
different.
This was off the wall.
It was like everyone all of a sudden needed to have some villain that was tweaking and had a tick to, like even Jordan, like Get Out, the brother in Get Out.
That character was annoying.
That was like the same thing.
That was over the top.
Where all these characters all of a sudden have to have little, like they're suffering from tardive dyskinesia. Like,
careful.
Shut up.
We found out that someone had cancer, beat it, and then he got in trouble for it.
I was the one. I told you guys this morning.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. So basically, the Senator Fitch, played by Holly Hunter, an actress I love, shows up.
She was great
to meet with him.
Yeah.
And he pitches this planetary security, is what he calls it, right? That there is this rock from these world engines that they were able to find, a mineral which we know as kryptonite, that can be used because they tested it on Zod's corpse to cut through Kryptonian flesh. And so he wants to make he called it a deterrent for Superman, and pitches this weapon. Let me develop this weapon so that if the man in the sky ever decides to, and
I feel like she knows something.
Yeah.
She knows something about him because she's very like, I don't know that I want to do this. Yeah. And then she does the whole, is this the whole sweet tea?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
No, at this point, they're all like, okay, well, we'll see. We'll think about it.
Yeah.
There's another senator that's more on board.
Yes.
And then there's
the guy
her.
with the glasses.
Yeah. Her. She's like, I don't know. God. We now see Mr. Wally Keefe, who's now in a wheelchair, the guy that had gotten hurt on Zod Day, defaces the Superman monument. And
how strong is that guy?
Big super, he just pulls himself up into his hand.
And the wheelchair goes wheeling off.
Yeah.
I'm like, great. What's he gonna do now? How is he gonna get down?
I live up here now in Superman's palm.
Yep. This is
my house.
where I'm gonna stay.
It's my house. He gets up and defaces the Superman monument and spray paints false god on Superman's chest. And there's this big monument to Superman built in the park down there. And this is where we see Perry White, played by Lawrence Fishburne, who I loved in this part.
He was great.
Cowboy Curtis
was awesome. Cowboy Curtis.
All three movies.
And they're looking at the screen and he goes, let's do this headline. Love affair with man in the sky over ? And this is another thing that was very frustrating about this movie and about the DCEU in general, is that they were so desperate to catch up to Avengers, they were so desperate to catch up to Marvel, that all they had put out was Man of Steel. And instead of doing then a Batman movie or then the Wonder Woman movie or another Superman movie, whatever, they jumped straight to the team-up movie, straight into then Justice League to try and catch up instead of taking their time. And so my problem with this is, from the end of Man of Steel to now, like love affair over, we never even got to see that there was a love affair with Superman or that people loved him, because all we got to see was the end of Man of Steel when he destroys the entire city. And now we're just being told that there was a period of a love affair between the people of Metropolis and Superman.
I never thought of that.
And that could have been an awesome movie of Superman not being depressed.
Sure.
And everybody loves him and he's doing cool stuff and maybe fights a bad guy.
So there should have at least been like a Superman 2 before there was a BVS.
We just skip over it so it doesn't hit home to me.
It's almost like Man of Steel should have been the second Superman movie.
Sure.
With the downtrodden ending of Man of Steel.
Fine.
That could have been Man of Steel 2.
But we got to, so it doesn't hit home to me, this idea of, oh no, the love affair is over. And I'm like, well, I never got to see that there was one. So the moment doesn't land for me personally.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Lex asks for access he wants access to the crashed ship, the Kryptonian ship, and Zod's body, which the other senator, the guy with the glasses, gives to him.
Yes.
Right? He's like, all right, you can have it, fine.
Well, and I kind of like the intertwining of him getting it as well as him going over the list.
Yeah.
So it's like he does, like, A, this is what I want, and then they show him getting it. And then it goes back to him being interviewed, and he's like, B, I want this. I want the body. And then they show him, and man, I always forget his right-hand girl's name.
I don't know.
Thank you.
It was almost a good.
She's rolling the body in, and it's really cool. Like I thought that was a real neat way to set it up.
But this is when Senator Finch, this is when Holly Hunter comes back and shows up and basically calls Lex a liar
Yeah.
and says, I'm blocking the shipment of the kryptonite because I'm not going to, what you call a deterrent, I know is an assassination weapon. And so he calls his bluff basically and says, I know what you're doing. You just want this stuff so you can kill Superman. And as much as I'm angry with Superman because she's leading these Senate hearings, condemning him.
We're not going to kill him.
We're not going to just kill him, which is exactly what you're going to do. So she goes, and this is an important line. She says, you can tell me it's a deterrent and it's not, you can give me a jar of piss and call it Mammy's sweet tea. And I'm not going to
Granny's
drink it.
peach tea.
Granny's peach tea, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to drink it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so obviously Lex is a spoiled little
The red
baby.
capes are coming.
Said something else. The red capes are coming. The red capes are coming. And he's, happy.
Another
On the...
annoying scene.
Thought it was a good scene.
It's annoying.
Hey, you know what happened next?
You don't know what else annoyed me?
What
When he
else?
puts the Jolly Rancher in the senator's mouth.
That was great.
That senator,
who would
how
take that?
old? How old is that senator?
I know.
60s?
Yeah.
And you're telling me some little 25-year-old billionaire mogul, you're just going to let him put a Jolly Rancher in your mouth?
Yeah.
You
Get
wouldn't
out of
let
here with
me
that.
put a Jolly Rancher in your mouth.
Listen,
I want
listen.
my wife put a Jolly Rancher in my mouth.
Lex
I
Luthor
would-
could have that guy killed.
The senator could have Lex Luthor killed.
Well, if only he had.
You want to know what?
he had.
You want to know what? And if I was that senator, I would do it myself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because that's the best line from Anaconda.
Somebody give me my belt.
Someone give me my belt.
All right, but guys, speaking of annoying, stupid things, do you know what happens next in this movie? We get dream sequence number 2.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Bat comes out of the tomb and tries to eat Bruce Wayne. Remember that giant bat broke through the frickin'
That was a callback to Schumacher's film.
was it? Mm-hmm. No, okay, good for him. This is when he wakes up. He wakes up.
No, it's okay. I'm just telling you what it was.
That's fine.
I hated Batman Forever.
I love Batman Forever.
This is when he wakes up and he goes, I think Lex is the white Portuguese. He's talking to
Alfred.
Alfred, played by
yeah.
Jeremy Irons, who I thought, again, great part. Great Alfred. Jeremy Irons was really good. A lot of the side people did really good. And he's like,
Really well.
We got to break it. We got to break into Lex. He's like, no, you don't have to because you've been invited. There's literally a party and Alfred hands him an invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So convenient. And this, and then
I mean,
Meanwhile,
some,
Superman
you know what,
gets
James?
invited
Something
too.
had to move the movie along.
No, I know, but this is and this is yet another clue to give me a Batman movie before we get to Batman versus Superman. Because right after he gets the invitation, he walks past Jason Todd's Robin
Yes.
suit that's been
Yeah.
spray painted by
Yeah.
Joker as like a fleeting reference to this. And I'm like, show me what happened. Give me Ben Affleck's Batman movie that makes him a broken person because Robin gets killed by the Joker. Let's see that movie. Why are we jumping straight to Batman versus Superman with Wonder Woman and all these people?
That's the studio's fault.
I know it's the studio's fault. I'm just.
I'm agreeing with you. That's the
Right.
studio's fault.
It's like 2-second reference, and I'm like, we fast forwarded,
It's
guys.
weirdly an aspect of the movie that I like.
But they could have, the DCEU, this is
They
more of an
could've.
indictment of the DCEU than this movie
Yeah,
specifically.
they
And
could've.
their failure and why now it's all getting restarted because they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And I mean, so it's all a postmortem at this point. Like we're performing an autopsy
Yeah.
to say, why didn't it work? This is one of the reasons to me why it didn't work. They were in too much of a hurry to catch up with the MCU.
I will say that I agree with you on that. I think they could have easily started something now
Yeah.
and then made it great because obviously people got so tired of the MCU
Yeah.
that now this would be a great opportunity to put out something as an alternative.
Right.
And it's almost like they're doing it.
Which I'm thrilled about
But they're
James Gunn.
late, right.
I think James Gunn is going to kill it.
Oh,
I do.
He was great. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, all three of those movies standalone are
and
fantastic.
his Suicide Squad movie was fantastic.
I like that too. You're right.
So
Yeah.
I have no doubt. And they released the first image of the Superman logo from what's now no longer Superman Legacy, has been renamed just to Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And I have full confidence that this is going to be an amazing Superman movie with a non-depressed Superman. And I can't
Well,
wait.
and I'm excited. And you and I had this conversation was
Yeah.
I like all the little side characters.
Yeah.
I like the hints to like who's coming up.
Yeah.
What's going to be happening. And all these names that are just dropping on who Plastic Man's going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am excited for that because I was a fan of Plastic Man and some of these B-rated like superheroes.
Right.
So I'm really excited.
You seem to not be excited about Superman Legacy, as it was called. Is that something you think is going to be bad?
I just don't care that much anymore.
I got you.
I'm to a point where I
You're
don't.
superheroed out.
More or less, yeah. I don't care about any superhero movie that's coming out. Like, I liked Pattinson's Batman. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm
off the MCU. I think they've just tanked. Okay?
I just feel like they've gone too far, and then they intertwined all the TV shows, and
That's what I'm saying. It's too much to keep up with.
Yeah.
And this is virtue signaling.
Yeah, and I'll watch the Guardians movies when those come out. And I watched 3 when it came out, and it was still great. And I'll watch any new Tom Holland Spider-Man movies that come out.
Yeah, those
I
were
like
good.
those. But I'm out on the MCU in general. But I'm not done with superhero movies. If you can make them good, they're still awesome. The reason a lot of people are superheroed out is because they just stopped making them. Well, they started making them by committee and by studio and just blam.
But
Here's
even
all this
as we're
info,
looking at the paradigm shift with BVS, is that, and it was the same thing with like Avengers: Age of Ultron, where everyone's like demanding that we have accountability for superheroes, and like it was the same thing with the Sokovia Accords, right? And it's like, I don't care about all that. Like, give me just Batman, blowing up a monorail.
Right.
Give me like Brandon Routh as Superman.
No, I agree with you, which is one of the biggest things I hate about this movie is this scene coming up where it cuts through all the different TV pundits talking about Superman and what Superman should be allowed to do and all that. I hate all that crap.
And the fact that they actually had Anderson Cooper.
Right.
Like,
or Nancy Grace. You think I give a crap what Nancy Grace thinks about Superman?
Oh, man.
I don't care what she thinks about anything. I hate this when they try to make this, plug it into the real world and how would this really work and how the government would really react. And I'm like, I just want comic booky stuff.
Yeah.
The president's like, go Superman. Like, that's what I want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't want all this BS.
Yeah.
I hate it.
What about the BVS?
I hate that too.
That's why we're here.
I don't want to hear Anderson Cooper and CNN debate about what kind of political power Superman should have and if he should be beholden to the people. Shut up.
I think it has its place in the material that is being, like Watchmen, for example, is specifically a satire on comic book
But that's what the purpose of that
That's
is.
what I mean. Like, the purpose of Watchmen as a product is to be that scathing satire of caped heroes, or what do they call them in the movie? I can't remember. But
I only saw Watchmen once.
yeah. And that's the point of that movie. So it's like, going into it, fine, that's great. If you want to have Nixon as president in the 80s and this alternative history of politics being interwoven with caped heroes, cool. That's what Watchmen is about. So give me that movie when I watch Watchmen.
Right.
That's not what Batman's about. That's not what Superman is about.
No. Batman is at odds with the police, and that's fine.
Yes.
Like, that's a part of Batman.
Right.
Right? But part of what I loved in Superman 2 and Christopher Reeve is when he drops the flag back at the White House and the president's like saluting him and he's like, you'll never have to be wondering about where I am again. Where are you, Superman? Help us on the TV. Everybody's like, let's go.
That's funny enough because that was at a time where we were the United States in 2016.
I know it's a reflection of the time, which is what makes me sad.
Yeah. So it's like BVS is a reflection of the time we're in in 2016.
Which is part of why I hate it.
Right. It's just like, well, you could have people for it and against it. And
I know.
I didn't mind it. I liked it. I thought it was thought-provoking to look at these characters differently than we used to look at them. So that's just my opinion.
That's fair. Let's get to Lex's house party.
There's a house party?
Yeah, he had a party at his house.
And through all this time, Clark Kent's trying to figure out who the Batman is.
Yeah, Clark's got to be up his butt about Batman because he thinks he's a vigilante.
There's more.
I was gonna say
scenes in the director's. The director's cut is actually the real cut of the film.
Well, yeah.
We're talking about the actual edition.
Zack Snyder's Ultimate Edition, which runs 3 hours and
The
actually
studio
incorporates
cut the
all
film
this stuff.
all apart because they didn't want an R-rated 3-hour film. But then Deadpool did very well, and they're like,
oh, imagine that. Maybe we could try and be leaders and not followers, right? That's the problem.
Okay. Call him back.
That's why Fox gets the W.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then they do the same thing again with Justice League.
I know.
Like, you didn't learn your lesson the first time. You screwed the guy in the second time.
I have still never seen Justice League. I've never watched it once.
Which one?
After
Both
BVS?
versions?
Neither. After BVS, I was like, no. I skipped Wonder Woman's, Aquaman's, Flash. After BVS, I was like, I'm done. I watched the Suicide Squad movies because I love Harley Quinn. And so, and the first one, I was like, it was so bad. I almost didn't watch James Gunn. But because it was James Gunn, I watched that one. Yeah. And I loved it. But this movie killed me off of DCU. And I love DC. I hate the fan base, wars. The PlayStation versus Xbox people will kill each other over that stuff. I'm not like MCU, DC sucks. DC, MCU sucks.
I'm for everybody.
I love Superman. He's my favorite DC character.
I will agree.
I love Batman. I'm not as big in the other guys just because I grew up reading Marvel comics. So outside of Batman and Superman, I don't really know a lot about the other DC characters.
Yeah.
But I love those too. And so this is not about me hating DC or being a Marvel fanboy. I love I want good Superman movies. I want good Batman movies. It's just very frustrating.
And this wasn't it.
And so it killed me from watching the rest of them. I've never seen Justice League. And if I did, I would not watch the Whedon one. If I did watch it, I would go straight to the Zack Snyder.
I think you should watch the Whedon one.
You should.
You should watch the Whedon one.
It's on Netflix.
And then watch Snyder's 4-hour cut.
Okay.
Because Snyder's 4-hour cut Justice League is one of the greatest comic book films of all time.
All right. I will, at some point, I will get to it.
Yeah.
All right. So at Lex's house party, what I really, Bruce Wayne is there to try and hack into his, network or whatever. But I thought it was awesome that Superman can hear Alfred in,
That was cool.
in his earpiece.
That was fantastic.
That was a fun little thing.
And Batman goes down there. He hooks up his little hacking gadget, and we see that Wonder Woman is also at the party. Gal
Sure,
Gadot.
because, Bruce Wayne can just go wherever the freak he wants, apparently.
Yeah,
no one
but at
cared.
this point,
No,
we
like
don't-
literally, Bruce Wayne is just walking around his house, just walks down to the kitchen, like,
he gives the bathroom excuse, but then stays in the room.
Yes.
Oh, I thought I was in the bathroom. And
Asking,
she's
the drunk Bruce Wayne, like, this was the way to the bathroom.
in the server room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say at this point, though,
You're right.
did you guys know that was Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I did. Because
Yeah.
it's Gal Gadot.
Because there was now,
Yeah.
No,
but
I mean, there was-
at
No, at the
2000
time.
when you first watched
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
I thought it was Catwoman.
Oh, no. Yeah.
When I first saw it,
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that's originally who she was going to be, not knowing that she was going to be Wonder Woman.
I had known Gal Gadot from the Fast and the Furious movies, and then it had been announced she got cast as Wonder Woman. So when I saw her, that's why I
I see.
assumed it.
Yeah, I didn't know because at the time I watched it, then I was like,
Oh.
"Is that Catwoman?" Like, and then when she stole from him,
Because Wonder Woman ends
Yeah.
up taking the hacking device before Bruce can get
so
back
I was
to
like,
it. Yeah.
"It's totally Catwoman." Like, why would Wonder Woman steal anything?
Yeah.
Lex is upstairs spitting out some giggling nonsense because knowledge without power is paradoxical.
And what? Oh my God, my brain is melting again, guys.
Kurt.
That's his
Kurt,
performance.
Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne have a
I know
meetup
the shirt.
here.
It
I know
confuses
that
you.
too.
Sorry.
Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne have a little meetup here, and Clark has, like I said, a bug up his butt about Batman, and he's trying to question him about the Gotham Bat, and the two of them are having a little back and forth.
I think it's fun.
I thought that
Yeah.
was a fun.
Yes. And then Eisenberg ruins it.
Totally ruined.
And then Lex Luthor comes in and
What's up,
goes
guys?
like,
Oh, do not pick a fight with this guy.
I thought was one of the other stupidest things where he's just like, oh, Gotham's Bruce Wayne meets planet Clark Kent. And I'm just like, you're comparing Clark Kent to Bruce Wayne? They're not even like, Clark Kent is literally
a nobody.
a nobody reporter who probably makes like 40 grand a year.
Luther probably wouldn't even know.
No.
Here's the thing. I think he knows who they are.
At this point?
At this point.
How?
I don't know, but the way that he acts and the way that's why he compared them at
That's
same
why
level.
he's like comparing
'Cause
them as
he
like these two
knows.
titans of
Yes,
like
he
yes
knows
because
what
he
he's
knows.
doing.
You should
He's
not
gonna
pick
pin
a
them
fight with
against
this
each
guy.
other.
Did he know what he was doing when he put the super secret data room lab right next to the kitchen
Yeah, I think so.
in a glass door in a fully see-through room?
And where else would you put it?
All right.
God, this scene is stupid.
I think he
was-
probably does know. My problem is they never show how he knows
I
who
agree
Clark
with you.
Kent is or Bruce Wayne.
So, and that was the other thing that we
Can we? This is 2016, and no one's getting fooled by the stupid glasses anymore.
Well, it's not just the glass, and this is the only thing I'll pick about Cavill's performance, because generally I like Cavill as Superman. I don't like that they make him depressed, but I think he was perfect for the part. And I love the actor. Is that his Clark Kent sucks? His Clark Kent is no different from Superman. He's basically like, I'm Superman glasses, whereas Reeves' Clark Kent, you would never believe was Superman because he was such
Nerdy
and he would slouch, and the way he walked was different, the way he talked was different.
Yeah.
So you could buy the fact that someone, even Lois, would look and go, "What? No, it couldn't be," because of course it couldn't be, because it's Clark.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas Cavill's Clark Kent is like, "Hello, I'm Clark Kent," and I'm like, "You're freaking Superman, dude." right? I mean, come on.
A blind Stevie Wonder can sense this.
I can sense this.
Yep.
So
Billionaire Lance Hunt.
yeah. they all kind of leave. So like Wonder Woman jacks the thing from Batman and he tries to follow her. And Superman runs off because he sees a news broadcast about some fire in Brazil or Mexico during the Day of the Dead.
Yeah, he flies off.
Love this next scene.
Saves a girl from
Saves
a
a girl.
James
burning.
finally gets him saving somebody.
No, I'm
I know,
gonna
it's
say
great.
this is like probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, when he saves the girl from the fire.
I love how it shows him seeing it on TV.
Yeah.
And then we wrap up the plot crap that we have to wrap up of Bruce chasing Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, whatever you want to call her. You know, that whole crap, all this crap that's happening.
Yeah.
And then we finally have, a nice, real quick interlude of the
What Superman is.
right
And they have all-
of
and this is
that
when they-
savior figure.
And this is when they splice in all the pundits talking crap about him, spliced in with him saving people occasionally. But there's also these weird things that didn't ring true to me from Superman, like with the flood victims on the roofs, reaching up for him, and he's just hovering. I'm like, why are you just hovering there over
Go
these
get
flood
him.
victims? Like, go get him.
Probably just
What are we
got there.
doing? Just got there, just like.
Well, why was he pulling the ship
Stare
across
at
the ice sideways? I didn't understand that
Probably
part. either.
capsized.
It was
I don't
a
know.
I
little-
don't know. But anyway, let's keep going here.
This is the best part of the movie, though.
Wonder Woman flirts. They're at some other gala. Wonder Woman flirts with Batman some more, and then gives him the zip drive back. Like, I couldn't hack this. That's got government grade encryption. Batman's like, I don't give a crap. I got the Bat computer.
Give me that. That's mine.
the back
Get
Here's the
hell
thing:
out of here.
we're an hour into this movie, and there's been barely any Supermaning or Batmaning
Thank you.
happening in the entire film.
Totally realized this the other night, too.
Barely any.
When I first saw the movie, I paid no attention to that fact until it was literally an hour and 6 minutes
Yeah.
is where we are in the movie.
Right.
And yes, there is no Batmaning or Supermaning of
Other
any kind.
than like tiny little snippets.
and then when we finally, are we coming up on the warehouse?
This is
scene?
not
Warehouse
the end.
scene's at the very
next
end.
thing is
The first one at the
the next
docks.
thing is
James's favorite part.
dream sequence number 3.
Oh, that's right.
Nightfall, the dystopian
Nightfall.
future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Darkseid coming and then the Flash coming forward and
Yeah.
Bruce. Yeah, he's all shaking and
The seeds planted for the Injustice movie we never
That
got.
never happened.
yeah.
Right.
Which is too bad because it probably
very
would have
too
been
bad.
That would
pretty
have been
awesome.
great.
Henry
probably
Cavill
would've been
versus
awesome.
Ben Affleck.
Hey, I'll take a Nightfall movie. This is great, but why is this in this
They're
movie?
planting
To
seeds.
plant seeds that they never intended to, or maybe they intended to.
Oh, no, they
but
intended
never
to.
They intended.
came
You got to watch Snyder's cut of Justice League. It's so fire, man. It's so fire.
Batman's gunning people down, which in Nightfall makes sense. And the fight where he's just literally snapping
And we
dudes'
get the
necks
classic stuntman that doesn't know what he's doing, and he
Yes.
kind of runs at him and kind of like maybe he's about to shoot him, but then has realized, oh wait, I'm just a
I'm too close.
stuntman. I'm too close, and I'm not supposed to get hit just yet, so I got to back up. But
Yep.
we're doing it in a one taker, so we can't call cut and do it again because it would be too expensive
Yes.
Hold
to
on.
refilm this entire one
Wait a
taker.
second.
Yes.
At least I could see what's happening.
You can see what is happening
true.
in the Dark
That's
Knight.
true.
No, you can't.
Hey,
The
Ryan.
Scarecrow.
I would hate to live in your brain.
the
I like to just watch movies.
These two guys agree that you can't see in either three. The only time you ever see an actual fight happen is between Bane and Batman.
You can see Bane and Batman in the sewer in Dark Knight Rises. You can see Scarecrow henchman in the Dark
you
Knight in the
don't.
opening
I think-
scene.
I
you see
the
him
combat-
bend the barrel, and you see, hey,
in the opening bat scene.
He's
Here
almost
we
he's almost
go.
he's
Come
almost
on,
doing
work with me.
hold on. He's almost Bob. He's almost doing the gun kata if I don't move from within this square thing he does in Equilibrium.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's Batman, but he fights in a little
he
box.
fights in the most garbage, stupid, non-Batman way. I know it's
I
realistic.
really want to put my cape on
I
and
didn't
just
say it's
fly out of
realistic,
here.
but that's why they chose it because they was
No,
like,
it's
I googled this.
completely-
Can't see the stuff.
Yes,
stuff
wait until we
is
do-
the most
I feel highly
garbage
uncomfortable right now.
Self-defense class for
guys.
girls. They gave it to Batman.
All right, guys. What if we just do the Nolan series on Good Movies Rule and you can sit here and scream at each other until you're blue in the face?
I agree with you. The
don't
Nightfall fight scene was a little okay, but I can see what's happening. Unlike 3 movies with 8 hours of content where I couldn't see anything.
No reason.
I love it.
Because he wants to lick his cat's taint.
You can perfectly see the combat in the Dark Knight.
You cannot, because you're a mutant. That's why you can see it.
You can't see it in Batman Begins. I'm not saying you can't. It's very terrible in Batman Begins.
It's horrendous.
Worst bat combat is Batman
And
Begins.
how does Joker get one up on Batman?
It's a time for love.
Yeah.
How does Heath Ledger's Joker get one up on Batman?
I don't know.
Joker gets his ass kicked every time he gets near Batman.
I don't know. You love the movie more than I did.
I used to. And then I see flaws in it and I go, why is this happening? You couldn't even see Harvey Dent fall off a building. I just realized he died. I go, wait a minute, Harvey's down there. Where's your argument? They gave him self-defense class for women as his fighting skill? And the worst outfit known to man. Because he has to turn his head? The least looking Batman of all time. Adam West was more Batman than Christian Bale.
It used to be your favorite movie of all
It
time.
used to be. I was 20. I was stupid. It's in my top 20. Why? Who is on my arm? Heath Ledger, not Christian Bale.
What about Dark Knight
Ledger.
Rises?
Rises is good. I like Bane. I like the fight between Bane and Batman. You're
So-
shit on a fight scene that you can actually see. I will admit it was 1, 2, 3. I'll give you that. That fight scene with the stuntman was trash Oreos. But I can see what's happening.
Yeah, you can see what's happening. You can see the flaws.
So what's next?
Turns out the White Portuguese is a ship, you guys.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Anybody have a problem with that?
The Apple Varda is
I
a
will
cargo
say-
ship, not a woman.
It's a cargo
Wait, before we do that, we can't skip over the fourth dream sequence. Because after the Nightfall dream sequence with evil Superman,
Wait, it's a dream within a dream.
he wakes up and then he's like, "Oh, that was the third dream sequence. I can't believe I had this many in this movie."
I need another
and then
one.
at this point, Flash comes out of the time.
Yes.
What's that called? The
Flashverse.
whatever.
Or the Flash.
And he's
yeah,
like,
what was it called?
Yeah.
he goes, what does he say? It's Lois. She's the key.
Yeah.
Am I too soon? And I'm like, yes, you're literally in the wrong movie. You're too soon, Flash.
Holy crap, I'm going to go assoon somebody. I'll be back in a jiff.
He's like, oh crap, is this Batman versus Superman? I'm too soon. I'm too soon. I need to come back in a later movie. Fourth dream sequence.
And then he wakes up.
Which I still wish for that movie.
And then he wakes up again.
It's a dream within a dream. He wakes up from the Nightfall into another dream of the Flash saying something, and then he wakes up again.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, that's basically Lois dying, right? And that's when it causes evil Superman to become
Injustice,
evil,
yeah.
right? For
the
injustice.
The
injustice.
seeds, they're trying to plant the seeds for
Yeah.
future movies.
You know
All
who
right,
did
so-
Dream Within a Dream much better? Christopher Nolan. Just saying.
Bury this microphone in your
All right,
pee hole.
now you're just trying to derail us here. All right, so
You're right. That was flagrant.
the White Portuguese is a ship, and this is where he basically just
Not a
admits,
fragrance.
He admits to Alfred, who's starting to call him on his BS. All right, you know what? There's a rock on this boat that we can use to kill Superman. And Alfred's like, what are you talking? We can't kill Superman. Like, why?
our enemy.
Why are you going to war? He's not our enemy. And he's like, if there is even a 1% chance this guy could be bad, then it's a certainty that we have to kill him. And I'm like, yo, it's so unlike Batman to me. But I understand he's like a more broken version to just be so quick to want to kill him without really understanding what's happening here. I'm like, this is supposed to be the world's greatest detective. But that's essentially Batman wants to kill Superman. He tries to heist the rock when the shipment comes in with the kryptonite. He shows up in his Batmobile, and I thought this was some more cool Batman crap.
Yeah.
Was this attempted heist because he's unable to ultimately get.
yeah, sure. He shows up in the middle of a Dodge commercial.
Yeah, he does.
That's all I thought. This entire scene is stupid because it was a Dodge commercial.
There's some cool Batman crap, but he is just at one point machine guns up out of the Batmobile, and he just obliterates this whole SUV full of guys in front of him.
I love this.
Just
Then he
rolling in front of him.
freaking catapults the
Yes.
tow cable. It just drags the guy.
Yeah,
I
drags
love
the
that.
car behind him.
Smashes
Yeah.
into one car, and then goes into a warehouse,
Into a
comes out
building.
the other end, and smashes a guy off the side of a semi.
He goes through the trailer coming out the window. I'm like, that
that's
was all
great.
cool. I thought that was cool.
He's like, I don't care anymore. I'm murdering all of you.
But ultimately, he Tokyo drifts around a corner
Yes.
and
Yes.
right into
Yes.
Superman,
I love this.
the face, he had the Kurt Mummer face.
who just Superman just doesn't even move, and it
No.
just ping pongs right off of
and
him.
I just love the for the wheels, just like
yes,
yeah.
This is a cool
awesome.
moment coming up right here.
Well, what I love about this whole scene is just how it shows how indestructible the Batmobile is. It's crashing through things. It's going through buildings. It's going through trucks. And all of a sudden he comes in, like you said, Tokyo drifts, hits Superman, and it goes flying into a building.
Right.
And there's just debris and everything. And Superman's like, not even a scratch. Yeah.
walks over, rips the canopy off of
One
the
hands it.
Batmobile,
Just,
and Batman stands up. And to his credit, doesn't flinch or
no.
back down.
Oh, it's great.
And
Eye to
Superman
eye.
says, next time they light your light, don't show up. Consider this mercy. And he turns to leave and he goes, let me ask, do you bleed? And Superman kind of, what the frick? Like that's almost like a look on his face and flies away. You will.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love it. I love it. Did you guys like the voice cover?
I do.
think that's a clever way to do
That
it.
was
So
a
you don't
great
end up with,
Great way to.
so you don't end up with,
yeah.
we know these people are looking for good. Where were the other drugs going? You would never give me a gun to an ordinary citizen. Suffered succotash.
Tally, he was gonna murder thousands of people. Stick long 9 inches into my back.
Where's the trigger?
I sound like Steven Seagal.
Yeah. It's the best way to avoid that, so I was a fan of it. That's fine.
Oh, that,
Well, and I think they showed that prior to this. Alfred was working on the voice,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to rewire this because
Right.
there's something faulty in it."
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they actually has a voice modulating box.
Yeah.
So then we get to this Senate hearing.
Here's the thing, though.
this is a.
Just a quick.
Please.
Why does Batman shoot the semi with a tracker and then attempt to heist it?
Just in case.
He wants to know where it's going.
Yeah.
He couldn't get to it because he just got hit by Superman.
So he didn't have the confidence in himself that he was just going to do it the first time?
Or it was just purposeful redundancy worked into his plan.
You think
I don't
so?
know. Maybe. I'm going to give him the
I don't
benefit
know.
of the doubt because
I thought that was
He was
stupid.
trying to get it, didn't get it.
Thought it was
launched the
stupid.
tracker.
All right.
What would you have done?
So there's a Senate
Not
hearing.
had a tracker.
Superman shows up for this big Senate hearing. Mr. Keefe rolls in on his fancy new wheelchair that Lex gave him
Yeah,
because he's obviously now working for Luthor.
sure.
Yeah, but doesn't know that he's a ploy.
He has no idea.
Yeah, no.
And they're basically, Superman shows up to answer for
His crimes.
whatever crimes there may be. I don't think Superman even admits that he's committed any crimes, but they've asked him to be there to answer for his actions
Well, he's caused destruction.
or whatever.
He doesn't mean to cause problems,
Right.
but it just happens that he's.
There's this little scene between the senator and Lex Luthor right before she goes in. You know, we're at the center, and he's like, "Well, you're really gonna be in the hot seat in there." And so,
Hint, hint,
Sends
hint.
mercy,
Wink, wink,
mercy,
wink.
save me a seat.
Yeah.
He sends his girlfriend in there.
Right.
That's how sick this guy is.
save me a seat.
Save me a seat.
And
Oh, no,
Superman-
admittedly, that part's. Oh, yeah.
Superman walks in. I like that shot of him gently pushing open the
Yeah.
the
Again,
little door,
showing like
you know.
I have control over my powers and abilities. Right.
Exactly. And Senator starts to talk to Superman and realizes that there's a jar of piss on
Yeah.
her countertop.
She just sees T kind of written
Yeah.
on
You
it.
tell Superman's like, what's going on?
And she turns it and it says Mammy's peach tea,
Granny's
which is a
peach tea.
reference to. And I thought this scene was beautifully acted by Holly Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
This idea of the slow realization
Yeah, that
of
she's duped.
what's
Yeah.
happening here.
As she sees the seat's empty.
And she sees that the seat's empty and she looks at
Candle.
him and then there's that Jeff Daniels from Speed, I'm about to die look,
Cavill's
towards
face
Superman,
is
and
like-
Cavill's confused, which he blames himself for not realizing. And there's a bomb inside Mr. Keefe's wheelchair.
Yes.
And the whole
and it's
Senate,
lead line, right?
the whole Capitol building
Yeah.
just
Even his face was good, too.
yeah.
Scoot McNairy.
And then it
no
cuts
idea.
in the midst of an explosion, it cuts back to Superman who's still standing in the same spot,
Yes.
which is
Saddened.
which was fine. That's a moment for him to be sad.
Yeah.
And then just destruction.
Well, I think the look on his face too, to me, was like, I'm duped. I should have figured this out.
Right.
All
Yeah.
while the Bruce is watching this happen, getting letters over the paychecks and looking at like you let your family down, you did all
Oh, yeah, from that
supposedly
guy.
from Mr. Keefe,
Yeah.
right?
supposedly, but it's actually from Les. So Lex is actually trying to bring these two into a fight.
Yeah, that's
But then it frames Superman again for blowing up the Capitol building.
we'll get to that in a second when we get to his reveal at the end. But the whole idea that he somehow was controlling Batman is so stupid to me. Like, how on earth could you plan and know and figure out exactly what Batman was going to do, to the fact that he knew that night he was going to turn that light on and be like, all right, now it's time to fight. Like he orchestrated the fight between the two of them.
I mean, the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker kind of does that in The Dark Knight.
In a much more believable fashion.
You think so?
I think so. I think so. All right, where were we? Okay, so this is when he then quits. So Superman goes to Lois and quits being Superman. He says it was a farmer's dream. Superman isn't real. And I'm just like, can we just get a Superman that loves being Superman? This sucks. And he flies away and disappears. And then we get all the pun. Where's Superman?
I did love the scene between Costner and him on the mountain.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was gonna say that's like
I love
my
Costner.
maybe my second favorite scene in the movie is the Costner.
Talks about the flood.
Yep.
Talks about the-
Horses.
and I love Kevin Costner.
That was it. I was trying to think of it too. The monologue that Costner does is,
Man of Steel.
is amazing.
Which is what makes him decide to go back and be Superman.
Right.
Right. Lex goes into the crashed Kryptonian, that's hard to say, ship and accesses the computer, who he finds out because he uses Zod's fingerprints that he chopped off.
Yeah, he made a laser out of the kryptonite, so he was able to use like a knife.
Right.
and
Krypton-
cut
he-
the
a Kryptonian X-Acto knife.
Yeah.
And gets access, and he finds out the ship has like, a vast universal knowledge of all these different, civilizations and stuff. And so he goes, teach me. And
give me it all. Yeah.
Lex is learning all of this stuff. And this is my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Oh boy.
This is where we get Batman working out to prepare for fighting against
Superman?
Superman.
This is a Kurt Mummer
This is
James
like,
argument.
Let's flip some tires. Let's do some pull-ups. Now I'm ready to fight Superman.
Yeah, because do nothing.
What
What
you
are
might
you
as
gonna
well do nothing because doing pull-ups isn't going to help you fight. He's Superman. If you
He's
did-
Batman. He's not going to do nothing.
Maybe if I do one more push-up with a weight on my back, now I'm ready to fight Superman.
I better not do anything. I'll just roll over on my back and be a puppy dog.
No, you don't do anything. You build a suit. You build a suit. That's the suit.
You got to be strong enough to wear the suit.
He built the suit. It's
He's
like,
working out.
Look at Iron Man. Iron Man built a suit.
He's not
and
Iron
just
Man.
I'm in the suit.
Batman's
the suit
better than
does the
Iron
work.
Man.
That's the MCU. We're not supposed to bring up the MCU.
I gotta fight. I gotta fight. Superman, let me pull this rope. Now I'm ready. Let's go, Soups. I got you, buddy.
The sledgehammer on the tire.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
Just the idea of him doing a workout montage to prepare for fighting
He
Superman.
knows he's going to die. What would you do as Bruce Wayne?
I would.
You think he's going to go sit and watch a movie?
First, I wouldn't be dumb enough to get egged into a fight with Superman if I was Bruce Wayne. He's supposed to be really smart. Second, I would maybe build a suit and use kryptonite. Those are two smart things. I actually
He
believe...
didn't get the kryptonite yet at this point,
and
did
they
he?
did this in the cartoon, I think, too. Right? I fully believe that given how smart and resourceful Batman is, that Batman would defeat Superman in a fight.
He did.
And he did.
He did. Dark Knight Returns.
He did in Dark Knight Returns. He did it in this movie. He did it in the cartoon when he had all the countermeasures for all the Justice League members and all that. So it's
I
not
remember
stupid that Batman's fighting Superman, and it's not stupid that Batman would even win. I think he would win.
You think it's stupid that he would
It's
work
stupid
out
that he would
before?
work out before he would fight him.
So you'd rather just so you want a montage of him sitting on a couch, opening up a bag of potato chips, being like, "Well, it's one last round. I'm just gonna
Give me the montage.
give me
of
some
him,
beer."
Give me the montage of him making the kryptonite gadgets, the bat gadgets, the suit. Give me all that stuff. But him flipping tires to get ready.
That
is
doesn't
so
do it for you, huh?
stupid to me.
I think he was making guns and stuff.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it was
intertwined with doing his
'Cause
awesome
he made the gas
pull-ups.
No,
grenade.
that's all good.
Yeah, which I thought was a fantastic way to mess with Superman. I will
man.
give you that.
Even Rocky had a montage.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting a steroid out of Russia.
Even Rocky 6 had a montage.
After
Yeah,
that,
no, but he shouldn't have. Rocky shouldn't prepare for a
but
fight.
because that's someone that is also a human person that has an
Drago
equal,
was a human person,
an
sure.
equal measure.
He
of
wasn't
strength.
jacked up on drugs and everything, but
was.
it's all right. No, we're good.
But like, if Superman's level on a scale is 100,
Yes.
and Batman his physical level be 1.
Yes.
Okay. So would you work out to get to 2? You doubled your personal strength, and you're still.
If I have to wear a
98
metal suit,
and you're still 98
if I have to
below
wear a metal suit,
what
I'm
Superman is.
exercising to make sure I can lift this suit properly and move around in
He
it.
builds the suit. You
Yeah.
can build the suit to be able to function
Okay.
however you want to make it function.
No, I got
It's
you.
not like he was out of shape already. He was already Batman.
Maybe, we don't know.
Do you know what I think?
I
we
mean, when
needed?
he was filling out that suit, I mean, when you watch that bat mask around his face, it was looking a little pudgy.
Okay.
He had a little bit of fat there. Maybe he needed to get rid of some of that.
What were you gonna say?
I think we could have used an extra 20 minutes in this movie that Chris Terrio could have written how Batman had to design the exoskeleton to a specific specification, which then necessitated him to have to work out to lift the exoskeleton, which had to specifically be built to be like 300 pounds.
Respect. All
It's
right.
in the Rick T. Foster cut.
It's in the, yes.
So he looks at his stupid zip drive too, figures out that Wonder Woman's really old.
Stupid zigzag.
It's just like, okay, in the middle of all this, let's look at some files. That's always fun.
And she's like, why is he standing next to Chris Pine?
Lex,
Who is that?
I thought that's all I thought when I saw the movie was, why is Chris Pine in this photo?
because of the movie, the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, but that didn't come out yet.
It was about to.
I had no idea that Chris Pine was going to be in Wonder Woman.
Lex
I thought
begins
it was
the
funny.
metamorphosis. There's like this forbidden metamorphosis that he's started off inside the Kryptonian ship. And even Carla Gugino, who's the voice of the Kryptonian ship, is like, no, you're not supposed to do this. He's like, shut up, override, Kryptonians destroyed.
I
Whatever.
love how he's just like, no, override that. And she's like, all right, your wish is my command. Like,
And
what?
so using Zod's body and some of his own blood, he starts to create this monster inside the Kryptonian ship.
Yes.
in the Kryptonian chamber.
Right. Batman is now ready to fight. He's got his, I think the suit was awesome.
It was
I don't know
great.
what you guys thought the suit was cool.
Yes. The suit was.
He's got his kryptonite spear that he sticks in the ground of this building, goes back to the roof, lights the bat symbol, and he's like, all right, it's time to fight. Let's do this. Lights a lamp. Meanwhile, Martha Kent gets kidnapped. We don't see by who yet, but kidnapped. And Lois is also snatched up and taken to Lex Luthor, who's on the roof of a building.
I love the score of this
Lex
scene.
Corp.
That little that musical number that Hans Zimmer did was really good.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. I like Hans Zimmer. I'm never going to criticize that guy. He's
Junkie
awesome.
XL. They did
Junkie
really
XL,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Lex spends a few minutes babbling to Lois.
Wasting time.
Wasting time. And then pushes her off the building, saying the best way to find a Superman is, to basically take Lois and push her off a building.
Yep.
And shoves her off the building. She's falling. Superman, who hasn't been around since he quit, flies in, of course, and saves her. And she's like, you came back, and I guess I'm still Superman. All right, let's do this. Let's go. And flies back up to face Lex on the building, who knows he's Clark Kent.
That was one of the issues.
How?
That's one of the issues I had.
Yeah.
Was how does he know Batman is Bruce, and how does he know that Superman is Clark? But I did like this scene when Superman flies up and he goes, "Oh, we're having trouble up here." Like I did like his delivery and a lot of stuff. I like this scene a lot.
I liked him egging Superman on.
Yeah.
I think
He brought him to his knees by showing him pictures.
I know, but his whole motivation, which is basically I hate God. Like there was no powerful God man in the sky to save me from my father's fists, and that means that if God is all powerful, he cannot be all good, and if God is all good, then he cannot be all powerful. And he really breaks into this atheistic argument that people make against the existence of the actual God, which I just found incredibly annoying. And so he's now taken his hate for God with capital G and put it on this God, Superman.
Right, but I think I agree with you, but in the sense I don't even know what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you're a supervillain of that stature, I think I think you need something that drives you to hate this person.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really know even why Lex Luthor has ever hated Superman to begin with
Well, it's just
from the comic books, other than he just needed a supervillain.
enviness.
Yeah.
Well, I
This
think
guy has everything. I have
take it
nothing.
as-
I have all the money,
Right.
but I'm still destroyed inside.
this is what I'm saying. I think what works best for Lex, with whether it's Hackman or Spacey or whoever, is just this idea that Lex is just a total egomaniac and just wants to rule the world, and Superman happens to be the person
In the
that's
way.
standing in the way of that.
Yeah, I can
Whereas
see
this
that.
was more about like, I just hate Superman because I hate God, and Superman represents God, and so I hate him. That to me is a much dumber.
Yeah, I guess I didn't pick up on that. I guess I just looked at it still the way that we looked at it before, where he's just more maniacal.
Yeah.
And unstable mentally, and that's why he hates him. So he finds something to just hate about him.
Yeah.
And that's what drives him to just be a crazy loon towards him.
We also find out that Lex has been orchestrating Batman's hate, and I was like, yeah, okay, Lex Luthor can control this and pull the string. All it took was a few red notes, and Batman is my little plaything, and I'm like, shh.
Well, Batman was already broken at that point.
That's when he pulls out. He goes, look, you are going to go battle Batman, or Martha dies, and he pulls out the Polaroids were pretty grisly. I thought, like,
Yeah,
those
they're
were
pretty nasty.
Pretty nasty.
Witch on the written on her.
Yeah, and they're like just hogtied with the rope in her mouth, and then this is where Superman does his best Christian Bale. Where is she?
Yeah.
It was very, very well done.
And
Well, and there's a whole line in there, I think, right before that, where he was like, I love that he goes, just the psychological game that Luthor's playing, where he says to Superman something along the lines of like, because he says, well, Lois is safe. She's on the ground.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, there's also another, the other woman that loves you so much, and then he was just like, what do you know? And then
Your first love, boy's first love.
Yes. Thank you. And so
then he says,
it was just really great.
And now God bends to my will, right? And Superman, to his credit, stops with Lois first and goes, I need to go try and convince Batman to help me or I'm going to have to kill him, and flies over there, basically. Shows up for the fight and tries to reason with Batman. And again, anytime they do this in movies where they can't really let him reveal the information yet or it would stop the fight, they always have the main character kind of fumble. I'm like, just spit it out and say what's happening. Well, Bruce, we really need to talk because there's stuff going on. I'm like, just get to it, dude, because he keeps interrupting you with, sound waves and giant turrets and machine guns.
Yes, because that was his first plan.
Right.
My first booby trap for Superman is a sound machine.
Right. Okay.
Well, I think it's just to
use it
weaken
in
him
Dark Knight
and to
Returns.
see.
They use it in Dark Knight Returns.
I'm just like, just spit it out, dude, like what you're trying to say to him.
Yeah.
And let him know. Like, fly there and go, they have my mother prisoner. He's been orchestrating this whole thing and he wants us to kill each other.
Well, he can fly.
Right.
So there could have been a point where he just stayed above everything and went,
Right.
hey, just so you know,
Just so you know, Lex is behind everything.
Yeah.
come get me.
Come get me. But Batman gets thrown up to the roof, and which was just awesome. You just lay on the roof like, okay, crap. All right, I'll just get chucked
Yeah.
up there. That's when he fires the first canister, which is kryptonite gas.
Yeah, the kryptonite
Catches.
the Kryptonian gas grenade.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Superman catches, and then it explodes in his hand.
I love this scene.
It's cool. And then
Yeah.
he starts to
Yeah.
choke on all the, the gas and stuff.
Men are brave.
Right.
You're not brave. Men are brave. And
Yeah.
he blocks the punch, and the look on Superman's
face.
face is
Yeah.
like priceless, and he just knocks him down.
Blasts him,
Starts
dude.
blasting Superman.
Takes down a couple floors. He's beating him up against the wall. And I thought this was a cool moment how Superman's jaw got progressively stronger.
Yes.
Like he takes the first hit, takes the next one, then his head moves a little less, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's not moving at all
It's like
anymore.
clank, clank, clank.
Batman's like, hold on a sec. Wham! I threw all the toilets.
Well, yeah, I love it. He just grabs him, just one hands him and just tosses him.
And hits him eventually with another gas canister. And this is now he beats him with a sink, throws Superman down the stairs, ties him up, and then drags him behind him, going, I bet your parents told you were special.
Yeah,
that whole thing, that you were here for a reason.
Which again feels like there's a little bit of a like, you still have your parents.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's just this angst in him where he's like, screw you, I hate you.
Couldn't
save his
because
parents.
I couldn't save my parents. You still have yours. It just it made just Batman so gritty.
No, for sure. That was cool. Starts whipping him around like through all the pillars. and
Oh
everything.
yeah.
Meanwhile, Lois lands in a chopper right next to the building. He's finally got Superman on the ground. Batman puts one foot on Superman's chest, pulls the spear up.
He goes, yeah, you're not even a man.
He's not even a man. He's going to kill him right here.
Yeah, he slices his face,
Slices his face to prove that he can cut him.
and then you can bleed. Yeah.
Says, Superman goes, "You're letting them kill Martha."
And then Batman snaps, flashes back to when his mom died because his
Yeah.
mom was Martha.
And his
this,
dad
I know when
was
everybody
where-
heard this, it divided the internet. And it was like
Yeah.
the worst thing ever. But if you watch it and look at the context of it,
It's still stupid. I don't care what
it's
you
like
say.
it's great. I like it. I like it. I think
I
it's
agree
good.
with Bob.
I'm planting my
I
flag.
do.
Dumb.
I'm planting my flag. I like it. The whole point of the opening of this movie, whether you saw it or not, like whether you agree with me or not, makes sense and pays off at the end. It snaps him out of it. Now, I will agree. What?
Why did you say that name?
Because instantaneous character arc. Yes, it's a wonderful thing.
That's my problem. Is it's
what's the
so
wonderful thing?
fast?
What's the wonderful thing?
Because he
That's what
comes
it
in
is.
and he's like, "Why'd you say that name?" And then here
Wait a
comes
minute.
Lois.
And they just happen to have
Hold
their
on, I'm
just because
answering
their
the question.
moms are the same name.
I'm asking him. I'm asking him.
I know, and I'm answering.
My face is at. I'm looking at you.
James is talking. Let's let the
Go
man
ahead, I'm
finish.
sorry.
Lois runs in, and now she's laying on top of Superman basically and goes, it's his mother's name, because he's like, why'd you say that name? Why'd you say that name? And to me, the problem I have with it and why I think it's dumb is the instantaneous nature of it in this whole movie. And for years, really, since Zod Day, Batman has been all over, wanting to kill Superman. It's get to this point, and all he has to say is the word Martha, and he's just like, whoa, my mom's name is Martha.
I guess that means we're best friends now.
What's your favorite dinosaur? T-Rex. Yes.
Yes.
We're best friends.
Dude,
I'm not going to say if that wasn't ridiculous, but I'm going to say it snapped about. You're saying like nothing snaps somebody out of something? I'm asking a question.
I think
snaps out.
Again, I feel like there was a rage there, and that rage
brought him back to Earth.
Well, I felt like the rage was built up through the fight. So near the end, he's finally on this high. I'm winning. I'm going to kill Superman. This is going to be fantastic. And then when he says Martha, I don't know if in his brain he's going, why are you saying Martha? Do you know something that I don't know?
Right.
Is there something what and it confuses him, and that's when he kind of drops his guard, right. And then that's when James said she runs in and says it's his mom's name.
But then drops your guard, makes you confused, maybe you leave, but the fact that right after that he's like, I'm a friend of your son.
That's what it is.
Yeah. No, that part I agree.
Maybe there should have been more.
The warehouse scene when he goes, I'm a friend of your son's, I will agree that's obnoxious because you just spent all these years trying to hurt him. I'm not, but I planted my flag on the Martha thing. Like Kurt just said, it confused him because he didn't understand why he said the name.
Well,
which people overlooked that.
Well, I think that's what made the first scene so important and so beautiful was the moment when he falls and he says, Martha, and he whispers to his wife dying, and there's something beautiful and poetic about it. And then the moment that happens, it's oh crap, like what am I doing? Why am I this is nothing that my parents ever taught me. This isn't who I should be. I shouldn't be killing people. I shouldn't be trying to kill this guy. So there's a little bit of where I go, okay, he should wake up. But I also feel, I get what you're saying. I think there should be more, maybe a dramatic scene of why he's realizing this and not just going, we're best buds now.
Yeah,
the best bud thing, I agree. Yeah. I'm just saying the Martha thing, I'm planting my flag on.
He goes, I promise. He's like, they need you. Batman's like, they need you at the crash ship because it's starting to like arc lightning or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the lightning thing.
I promise you, Martha won't die. I will go and save her. That's fine. Lois chucks the spear into the water.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Batman chucks the spear. And I'm like, that's an important tool you might want to save, Batman. Like, let's just not throw that away. And then Lois takes and just chucks it into the water, like down the stairwell or whatever in the building.
Well, I didn't understand. Was that like, is it not as powerful through water? Was her thought or thinking?
It's just like getting away from like covering.
That's what I think. It's just basically her disposing of it to where no one can get it.
All right.
I got you.
Yeah. Let's talk about the best scene in the movie.
We already did.
The warehouse scene. The warehouse scene where there's about 13 dudes holding Martha Kent hostage in the top floor.
This is when I detect 2 dozen men on the 3rd floor. I'm going to drop you off at the 2nd.
That's right. Alfred goes into drone mode, starts taking over the Batwing, and in Batman goes for the most classic Batman beating up bad guys moment maybe ever recorded on film.
Sure.
Yes.
It's
facts.
Quintessential Batman.
What Zack Snyder did in 5 minutes.
Yes.
Nolan didn't do in 3 movies.
Dude comes out of the floor, mass confusion. He's ziplining people with his zip gun.
Punched a guy directly into the floor standing up.
Pulling people up. People are confused. They're shooting into the hole, even though Batman's already up in the ceiling. Just classic.
Kicks a
Batman
grenade back at a guy that threw it at him.
Dude, he freaking rock bottoms a dude.
Yes.
That part was awesome.
Head into the ground.
Head into the ground. Face first into the ground with the other guy. When he shoots his thing into the crate and flips that over everybody.
Look at the
and
unity.
He's just wasting these dudes. It was
was Batman combat at its finest.
I think the best Batman scene, ever, like better than anything in the Pattinson movie, better than anything in depicting Batman taking out bad guys in the classic fashion, better than anything Nolan did, better than anything Keaton or those guys did.
Yes, absolutely. Either. I'm not saying there's not good fights in those movies. I'm saying this is the most accurate combat fighting Batman ever put on.
And he actually doesn't kill anybody until the very end with the flamethrower guy.
Well, that was actually pulled directly from Dark Knight Returns.
No, which is fine.
He had no choice in that comic because they swapped out the character. It was a kid that was kidnapped for Martha.
Yeah.
And he had no choice because it was right.
Yeah.
He's like,
So he gets to do with a flamethrower pointed at Martha. He says, "I'll kill her." He goes, "I believe you." And
that line was pulled right from Dark Knight Returns.
Shoots the tank and then dives on top of Martha to protect her from the fire and is able to save Martha Kent.
And then we get the infamous line, "I'm a friend of your son's."
Yeah, I figured.
No, you're okay. Like, that's where I agree with you on that. Like, okay, it was a little too quick.
Superman shows up at the crash site, and
This is the most
Lex is pretty embarrassed when Batman answers the phone. He's like, "Give him the bad news, one roast mother," or like whatever it is he says, and it's Batman like, "Sorry, you got the wrong number," or whatever he says. I don't know. I don't remember. But he's like, "Oh crap." He's like, "All right, fine. If man won't kill God, then the devil will do it." And activates. He goes, "Superman, you're Doomsday."
This is my least.
You didn't like this, Bob?
No, this is the one thing I absolutely hated about the movie.
We didn't jam enough in. Let's throw the death of Superman storyline in the movie.
I didn't have a problem with that. I wish they would have spent. They should have made this movie 4 hours. I would not have cared if this movie was 4 hours, because this. I don't know if they changed Doomsday. If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, did not have all this power that he had in the comics and the Death of Superman. He could not absorb power, optic blasts.
With these like shockwave blasts.
Shockwave blasts. I know he was a pretty tough SOB and was awesome fighter. And
tough enough to kill Superman, yeah.
Right. He obviously did kill Superman in the comics. If they were going to do this, I would rather have had a reenactment or a reimagination of flipping Nuclear Man, or brought Zod back to life for one last fight. Like, because it's pretty much a
zombie Zod.
It's pretty much a resurrected zombie Zod. Like, you should have just done another fight between Michael Shannon and the Trinity, or something. But you called it Doomsday, and that's where I had a problem with it. It's like, this is not Doomsday. He may look like it a little bit.
I thought he looked like crap too. Personally,
I didn't
the first imagination of him when he didn't power up first and he didn't have all the bones.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like how he looked. He had the butt face. It just, the whole thing was weird. I didn't like it. Yeah. When his bones finally absorbed some of that nuclear power, and which I kind of liked. I liked when they sent the nuke up into the sky and blew up Superman and him.
Let's fire a nuke into our own atmosphere.
I like the fight. The fight that between Superman and Doomsday was fine. I just didn't like the fact that they
mutated Doomsday, I felt, was better and cooler than the original, like when he just looked like a human.
Well, this whole fight is basically one just big mishmash of CGI, and in some cases, not really great looking CGI, just all kind of washed out.
But I also looked at it this way.
Let's hit the highlights here.
Who are you going to have fight the Holy Trinity of the DC universe?
They didn't have to have anybody fight the Holy Trinity of the DC universe.
No,
Save that for Justice League.
I understand that.
Defeat Lex Luthor, and that's the end of the movie.
If they were going to go that route, like I said, they should have just
But then what was the build-up for him to have everything? Right.
They should have just resurrected Zod.
I feel like, all right, they wanted a Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman movie.
Yeah.
You need a villain that's going to be able to do and fight all three of them.
Right.
And you've got pretty much two gods and a detective.
Right.
To me, that was the only answer that you could have.
They had to, but my problem is that they did that in the first. I don't think Wonder Woman needed to be in the movie. I don't think they needed to go straight to the let's get half the Justice League in here. Make it about defeating Lex Luthor, and whether that's whatever, a giant mech that he built or whatever it is. If you want to have something for Batman,
how cool would have been to see the Lex Luthor mech suit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, something that
that would have been cool.
While Batman and Superman are fighting each other, Lex has been building this thing instead. With kryptonite infused.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Something.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Anything would have been better than
Doomsday. But all right, so Batman at one point's like, I have to get Doomsday to chase me to Gotham to get the spear because Superman's like floating in the atmosphere after he got nuked or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, or you could just go get the spear and bring it back, but that's fine. Whatever you want to do. Batman's ship crashes.
It's a one-way trip that way.
Yeah. Batman's ship crashes. Doomsday lands in front of him and he goes, oh shit.
Well, I think he wanted to get to chase it to keep his attention on him. It's supposed to be like, I see lights. I'm going to go smash buildings.
But this is the cool moment where one woman steps in front of him. He goes, oh crap. And she just steps in and blocks the
shield.
With the shield and her
the gauntlets.
braces.
Her braces. Yeah.
Her music kicks up.
Her music music
really
kicks out.
awesome.
She fight. I thought it was
Love her
cool.
music.
Then there's this Superman shows up and he's like, I thought she was with you, that whole thing. And
You didn't
there's
like
this-
that? I thought that was pretty
That
cool.
was fine. The massive shockwave then comes out of Doomsday, and Batman has to like run and hide behind some debris.
Yes.
The other two just stand
there.
One Woman's blocking it with her shield, but her legs are okay. do you know what I mean?
It's the Captain America thing.
This is
This is
hilarious
Steve
to
Rogers.
me.
She does a Steve Rogers.
She's just like, oh, and it comes in the whole shield is smoking. I'm like, your kneecaps look fine.
She did
Why-
look fine.
but your
Her
shield-
kneecaps do look fine.
She
Yeah.
looked
Her
wonderful. in
boots
that
are made out
outfit.
of the same thing her
That
shield's made
girl's
out of.
kneecaps be fine.
God
Everybody
bless.
got that?
All right. Look, okay. Ultimately, Superman saves Lois, who is drowning trying to go get the spear herself
Yeah,
under the debris or whatever.
Yeah, the building falls
He
in. on
hears
it.
her, thumping and goes and saves her. Gets the spear himself and almost drowns. That was super smart. You hold her by her ankles or something, like let her get it. and then
Just hold her.
Pull her
I
out.
can't touch it. Just hold her.
touch it.
I thought that was heroic. He went and got his own thing
No,
that
I
could
get
kill
it.
him.
And he goes, "I love you. You're my whole world." And he grabs and is able to fly even while wielding a kryptonite spear because he's
That was a good moment.
mustering up the power.
That was a great moment.
Well, he
Just
charged up from the sun.
He looks right at Doomsday. He sees the destruction what Doomsday's causing, and then Simmer's music picks up. So his theme starts playing. He just goes, "I know what I have to do now."
Yeah. I have to die.
You know how it would have been better though?
How would it have been better, James?
If it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, that would have been great.
They started doing that, but guess what? Your boy James Gunn shot all that to hell.
Well,
I guarantee
it's not
you,
James Gunn. DCU waited
Hold
way
on a
too
second.
long.
James Gunn is the reason we don't have Henry Cavill as Superman anymore. Dwayne Johnson fought for Cavill to return.
I know. I'm just saying, but
You're
it's the
specifically talking about the theme.
the DC. I'm talking specifically about the theme.
no, they started using it with
Right.
Cavill.
Too late. I'm saying it's,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
it's the DCEU's fault.
Yes.
that they got killed, not James Gunn's fault.
No, I'm not saying
They
that.
waited too long.
They caught up. Okay, I am saying that, but
Yeah.
hold on. This is what I was trying to say. I didn't realize you were going with that.
Yeah,
I should have let you finish.
that's okay.
They should have ultimately just used, from here on out,
Yeah.
Danny Elfman's Batman theme,
Yes.
John Williams' Superman theme.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Stop reinventing the damn themes because those two themes are iconic, just like Indiana Jones.
Untouchable.
Well, that's like Wonder Woman's theme. I
Unfortunately,
love the new Wonder Woman
the Wonder
theme.
Woman
It's
theme is
fantastic.
iconic. I love the Wonder Woman theme.
Like in 20 years from now, if they, after Harrison Ford is dead and they want to make a new Indiana Jones series, you think they'd ever write a new score for it?
Probably.
They really shouldn't.
No. Would they ever do that for Star Wars, even after John Williams is dead? No, of course not. So why don't we keep the themes for these other characters?
I
Why do we have
agree
to have
with.
That's a
Hans
great
Zimmer
point.
and his bang, 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 bang? I love Hans Zimmer as a film scorer,
Yeah.
incredible. But as far as like themes for individual characters, not great.
No, yeah, it should have been the Christopher Reeve film. And then we slowly started to get that with his cameo appearances and all that stuff. And then the plug was pulled by James Gunn to be like, I'm doing my own thing. We're
Right.
killing this off. It was DC, Warner Brothers' fault for making stuff new, and they should have just kept the same.
Right, exactly. We'll get to Arnold as Superman later.
No,
but but that's what I'm talking about.
I got my
Specifically,
perfect
the
spot
theme.
for Arnold in this
The
movie.
theme would have made it better.
Absolutely.
He gets stabbed through the chest by Doomsday. They both end up dying and getting killed. And that's essentially the end of it. I mean, there's some funerals. Bruce and Diane have a conversation about it's time to find these other metahumans, which... time out. In the middle of the fight, one other dumb thing about this movie before we put a bow on this thing. In the middle of this big build-up and this big fight, let's cut to a 5-minute scene of Wonder Woman looking at zip files. That's really an exciting way to introduce all the members of the Justice League. Click. Let's watch a little
It's like looking at Bigfoot videos.
340 by 180, video of people. Like,
How else are you going to find these guys? Oh, you got
introduce them in a little more of an exciting way, and let's not cut in
You're
the
giving a
middle.
snippet to
and
the
let's not
audience.
cut into the middle of a big fight to be like, click. Let's watch some videos.
Well,
on
and that could have even been a secret scene. Why not
or
just
something.
make that
There could have been
something
the
after
ending
the
credit.
movie?
It could have been an ending credit scene.
Yeah.
Could have been the
By
ending
the way,
credit scene.
She's like, by the way, I got email.
Right.
Yeah.
You have mail.
All right, that's the end of the movie.
We made it under 2
made it.
hours. Wait a minute. How did this happen?
We're not done yet.
Ah, crap.
There is, besides adding John Williams' theme, there is another way we could have made this movie better.
Will Patton as Commissioner Gordon. That
Would have been
That would have been awesome.
would have been great. Instead, I got J.K. Simmons.
They didn't even have Commissioner Gordon in this movie.
Fire the nuclear weapon.
Get off the nuclear warhead or whatever.
That's not even a Will Patton line.
Well, I know we always credit that to him, but that's not him. That's why. That was
William Fincher.
William
Sorry.
Fincher.
Yep.
No, he's the one who's like, the clock on that nuclear weapon is
Harry, clock on that 9-foot nuclear weapon is ticking.
That's Will.
That's
Patton.
Will Patton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing with a gun in space?
I love that line.
What are you doing?
What are you doing with a gun in space?
Yep. No.
Yeah, it's
Will
good.
Patton, Armageddon. Love it
Good
so
stuff.
much.
Best character in that movie.
Best character in that movie is Will Patton. Yeah.
How about this? Come on. In the suit, Arnold is Batman.
No.
Come on, dude.
Arnold
with that
is
jaw.
Arnie
Arnold?
is as 20-year-old, been fighting
no.
crime
I got
in
it.
Gotham.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
Hold on. Listen to me very carefully.
No.
Okay. I'm not. Stop it. Listen. Let me ask you a question. Do you bleed? You will. Right? Because if it bleeds,
if you bleed,
we can kill it. That's right.
I would have had Jesse Eisenberg create Arnold Schwarzenegger Doomsday.
It's like, Superman, you're Doomsday. Oh, look at me. I'm all wet and gooey, but I'm going to kill you, Superman. Here I come.
That would have been the best
no
part when he
problem.
gets hit with the nuke.
It's going. Hold on, they're going to get pumped in the bones.
You're pumping me up.
My bones.
So wait a
they'll
minute.
pump you up.
So
I
wait a minute.
absorb your energy.
That's right.
Had Arnold been Bruce Wayne, Batman, would the montage have been better?
No, he wouldn't have needed to work out.
He would have ate a can of tuna and had a
Yes.
beer. Time
I'm
for
going to
fight
fight
night.
Superman. I don't even need a suit.
I don't need a
I'm going to
montage.
fight him with my shirt off. Okay?
While driving down
Because
the
if I've
street.
got this spear, right? It'd be like Predator. He had the spear he made
Yeah.
to the end, you know, and he
Yeah.
had all set up with the trap, the booby traps. It'd be like the end of Predator. Batman would be out
Yeah.
there. He'd come up onto the thing. He'd turn on his Batman light with his shirt off, and he'd go, ah! Just scream like he did in Predator, right? Just to let Superman know he's there with the spear in hand, and it would be just like the end of Predator.
I would have made him as the senator. As
That's
You know
Holly
what?
Hunter's character.
yeah, I would've- yeah.
You know
He'd
what?
sit there and be like, "Oh, my peach tea is so delicious."
When they finally do the Alfred biopic, I think Arnie should play Alfred.
Play Alfred.
Yes,
Why would we have him play Alfred?
because it
would
would be amazing.
I would love to see Arnold Schwarzenegger play that other center and gets a Jolly Rancher shoved in his mouth.
What if he was Batman, but it was Batman's voice when it becomes Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice
Yeah.
through the voice actuator?
Could do that too. Hello, I'm a friend of your son.
Oh,
I get to,
What about? Well, here's what. So Adam Lofton, playing along with us, wants to see him as Lex Luthor. Would have been a way more convincing and better villain. I just bald Arnie, right? You'd have to have him bald.
That's a weird image.
That's right. No, the red
Mr.
capes are
Freeze.
coming. The red capes are coming.
Yeah,
the
it was
red
a weird
capes are
image.
coming.
nah, he was good.
The red
I don't
capes
know.
are coming.
I agree. I love Mr. Freeze, Arnie.
I think Lex Luthor would be weird. I mean, I only gets to smoke stogies. He'd seem more like Kingpin if he was like, you know what I
Sure.
mean, in the MCU.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but I do like Sean McHugh's answer. He goes, have him reprise his role as Mr. Freeze and show up during the final battle. Hey, Batman, cool party. And he would take down Doomsday single-handedly.
He would just freeze Doomsday. Yeah.
What killed Doomsday? The Ice Age. It would be awesome.
Everybody chill.
That's right. Everybody. I'm going to freeze Batman. Okay, look, and he can't even get out and fly away.
Look, you don't even have your ice
You
skates.
can't have
What
it.
you going
Because-
to do
And then
now?
we're going to freeze Superman, okay, because he needs the sun, and there's no sun inside an ice block. And we're going to freeze this girl, whoever this is, the person with the little bracelets. It's so cute. But we're going to freeze her too.
Oh, I went around your shield and I froze
Right.
your legs.
And froze her legs, and then she cannot move. And then we're going to freeze Doomsday, and they're going to break off his arm, and I'm going to beat him with it.
then launch them into the sun.
Everybody else get down! And he just do it, man. It'd be awesome.
Great.
Let's give out some awards.
Bring Freeze back.
It's time for the Will Patton Award for Intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure
They remember forever the night they played the Titans.
All right, that's right. Here we are. Who was the most intense person? Who gave the most intense performance in this movie? Ryan Farrell, we are starting with you, man. Who's your nominee for the Will Patton Award for intensity?
You're going to hate it.
No, I won't.
It's Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, I do hate it.
Yeah.
That's a terrible answer.
Yeah.
That's a terrible answer.
It's because he's cranked up.
No, he's not.
Eisenberg was the only character that was cranked up to a point of, look, hated his interpretation of Lex Luthor, couldn't stand it, but he showed up. I think it was very wrong that he won the Razzie for Worst Supporting Actor because Eisenberg, as an actor, is very awesome. He's very good.
Good for you.
Thank you. Yes. Eisenberg was cranked up to an 11 in a role that should not have been cranked up to an 11. But you know what? There you go.
All right, let's see if anybody else is wrong. Adam Lofton said Ben Affleck. I think from Daredevil to this, he is an amazing Batman in Bruce Wayne. So that's a vote for Batfleck. Kurt, where are you at on this one?
I'm going with Batfleck. I agree with Lofton. Batfleck.
That's all you have to say? Okay.
No, I didn't want to talk over you, nose blonde. Sorry. No, yeah, Batfleck. Batfleck gets my choice. I agree with Lofton.
All right, nice. Here is Sean McHugh said, look, I had a tough time with this one. Swayed between Ben Affleck, Jesse Eisenberg, and Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh.
They all had a great performance, but ultimately I went with Ben Affleck because, well, he's Batman. I love Keaton, Bale, and hell, even Kilmer. Sorry, George Clooney. But Affleck is my favorite. He was both believable as the Bat and Bruce Wayne, something other actors have had trouble doing. And it was a plus they had a comic fan playing the part. He finally made up for his trash can winning performance in Daredevil.
He was just so gritty in this, and I loved it.
Ben Affleck as Batman is my favorite aspect of this movie outside of the killing. So I'm also going Ben Affleck. I thought from that opening, just the stare down with Superman in the beginning, all through the whole movie, I thought he gave the most intense performance personally. Also, Jesse sucked. So that's what I'm going for. That's a fourth vote for Ben Affleck. And before we go to Bob, we got the goose is Luke. Luke, you are the goose. No, Mark Gussick, the goose is loose. He went with Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, yeah.
He played pretty damn good, and I know most people don't like his performance, but I do enjoy it. So it's 4-2 right now, Bob. So you can make it closer, but you can't take it away from Ben Affleck. Looks like he's going to win. But who's your vote for the Will Patton Award?
This was really hard. This was really hard for me.
Oh.
It was really hard because I had struggled because everybody here, like, I'm going to have a problem doing the trash can.
Yeah. I won't.
No, you won't. I know you won't, but like I said, I watched this several times, both cuts, and I'm just like, man, everybody really brought it. It's really hard. So, I mean, it's been a toss-up between between Affleck and Cavill. I'm going to have to go Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. No, I respect that.
Yeah.
I like Henry. So, all right. But that does ultimately mean that Ben Affleck is going to win the Will Patton Award.
There you go. I'm proud that he's winning the Will Patton Award because he deserves it.
That's awesome. The next award we give out is to the worst actor in the movie. And, last time when we did Perfect Weapon, we had a hard time. No one wanted to feed the trash can a person. And,
it was hard.
We can't mess around with this trash can. This is like the containment grid in Ghostbusters, right? If we shut it off the wrong way, like all of these terrible performances are going to come spewing back out into the world.
They're going to form a mutated-looking Steven Seagal.
Of like Seagal and Dudikoff and everybody else that ever won the award.
How are we going to... It's a
Doomsday.
Yeah. Right. It's a Doom Seagal.
So just like in Cabin in the Woods, we have to feed the trash can to keep it sated, all right?
I know we're all thinking. I'm just saying it.
Let me just first hit the song, and then we can dive into it, because it doesn't count if the song doesn't play.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt, yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they. Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
Never get sick of it.
It haunts me.
It's a long time, Ryan.
Like, I'll be in the kitchen doing dishes, and it's like 7:30 at night, and I'll just be like, love never dies. And I'm like, why is this in my brain right now?
That's an intrusive thought right there.
That's a long time. And that's a long time.
All right. Who is your trash can full of dirt winner?
My trash can for the movie?
Yeah.
It's hard because, a lot of people really do bring... There's not bad acting in the movie, but really, I'm going with Henry Cavill.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Least favorite version of Superman is this movie.
Henry Cavill
Yeah.
as your trash can winner?
It's between that or Ben Affleck.
What's wrong with Ben Affleck? I got to hear
It's
this
just
one.
Ben Affleck,
Why?
It's just Ben
Because
Affleck.
he's better than Christian Bale.
He's not even
in
remotely
12
close.
in 12
Better
minutes.
than Christian
And all the screen time that that Christian Bale had, and he was overshadowed by everybody
I'm
else
looking
in the
at
film.
the craft of acting.
I'm not
which
talking
is what
about
we're
I'm
talking about.
We're talking about Batman,
Which is what we're talking
talking about
about as
Superman.
the
We
should never
trash
talk about
can.
the craft of acting in the same sentence as BVS, okay?
Hey, you know what? That's what we're trying to do here is give a trash can for an acting performance.
You're giving it a trash. You're thinking about trash canning Batfleck.
Cavill didn't do anything in the movie.
He did.
He flew around.
Wow.
He looked at
He's
things.
It's all about
Superman.
emotion, man. He had it.
He had none of it.
He had a lot of emotion.
None of it.
He had a lot of emotion.
Cavill had no emotion
Yes,
in this
he did.
movie.
I don't want to see a trash can flying around with a cape on.
No. All
right.
We're not trash canning Cavill.
We're trash canning Cavill.
He's nominated. I don't think he's going to win.
That's fine. Trash can Cavill.
Cavill did nothing.
Adam Lofton said Jesse Eisenberg. He sucks as Lex Luthor. I'm sorry, just wasn't a menacing bad guy at all. Kurt, who you got?
I'm going Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg.
My least favorite performance in this movie.
I'm also going Jesse Eisenberg. I hated his performance. Hated it. It reeked to me of, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to do what other bad guys in comic movies have gotten really lots of praise and credit for. Instead of trying to figure out anything about Lex Luthor himself, what kind of character Lex is, and doing something new and cool with that. Instead, he's just going to be like, I'm the Joker and the Riddler, but I'm also Mark Zuckerberg. And I hated it. It was awful. Awful performance. Sean McHugh also went Jesse Eisenberg. But he goes, I'm sorry, I'm going to fudge this one a little bit. I don't like this version of Lex, but I respect the fact they tried something different, taking more inspiration from modern tech billionaires than old real estate magnates. Honestly, Eisenberg had a decent performance and he was intense in his role. He was pretty good in the movie, which I hate to admit because I can't stand him. His whiny voice, his jumpy movements. I've never liked Eisenberg in anything I've seen. He typically ruins most things for me. It's a credit to the rest of the cast and crew that he didn't ruin it for this Batman fan. So what, you like praising somebody, Sean, that you're giving the trash can to?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
No.
That's even what you're kind of saying.
It's still a vote for Eisenberg, so I'm fine with it. So we got
I think I get it, though.
4 Eisenberg votes.
I get, like, it's cool that he went outside the box, but it was such a, it just was not who Lex Luthor is.
Yeah.
That's
so
the thing.
I think that's the problem. It's like, if this wasn't a Lex Luthor, if this was a whole different movie,
right,
and it was just a bad guy and a good guy, and he was a bad guy, sure, he played a good bad guy, but not as Lex Luthor.
No, he's a terrible Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
He's a god-awful Lex Luthor.
Mark Gussick went with Holly Hunter. I really didn't enjoy her acting. She seemed out of place with her mannerisms. So that's Holly Hunter catching a stray out here from Mark Gussick.
Yeah.
How about you, Bob? Who's your trash can winner?
Flamethrower Russian.
Flamethrower Russian guy. Not a fan. What was his name? I don't even know.
It was in Captain America,
I just
too,
called him
wasn't he?
Marco.
Yeah, he's a great. I like him in other stuff. I just wish he was too
Did more?
He was too robotronic.
He was a very robotic heel.
Yeah.
Where
That's
he was meant to be the number one physical heel.
He was meant to be like the number one. It was supposed to be built up as the physical villain in the movie besides Doomsday.
He was supposed to be Jack Nicholson's Bob.
Right.
Right.
But he was
You
just.
are my number one.
Yeah. This is
guy.
Yeah. I love his death, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's definitely great.
blasted fire blasted out of a window, but
Yeah.
I just wish he did a little bit more.
Well, that means that Jesse Eisenberg is going to win the trash can. Throw him right in there. Feed him to the can.
I'm sure he's not tired of that.
Get in there, Jesse. Get in there, Jesse. Next award we give out is to the unsung hero. Who's that player in a bit part, not one of the main characters, that made the movie better because they gave an awesome performance, which is why we named it after the guy that did that all the time, Mr. Steve James.
You know, every place you go, there's always someone who thinks he's a badass, right? Then there are those few who are. Are you some kind of a badass karate boy?
That's right. Who is it, Ryan? Who is your unsung hero of the movie?
I want to say Lawrence Fishburne.
You can say Lawrence Fishburne if you want to.
I mean, every scene that he did was entertaining. He embodied the character, and I mean, it's in the story, a character that's not as relevant as. I think he could have been more relevant.
I think so. I thought he did a great job.
I'm going Lawrence Fishburne. It's a tight thing because like Kevin Costner, as in the one scene that he has, love that scene, but I'm going Lawrence Fishburne.
Okay. Adam Lofton went with Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman. She's amazing as Wonder Woman. Now, if she's in the movie too much, then I'll go with Lawrence Fishburne. I don't think Wonder Woman was in the movie too much to be an unsung hero. She had a pretty bit part. So, Adam, I'll give you that one. Gal Gadot gets a vote. Who you got, Kurt?
I'm going the same route, man. I was going with Wonder Woman.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. She made the movie.
Yeah.
She made it great. The moment she showed up, it was like, yes.
Yeah, that was cool.
You were excited. Made me want to watch the new movie.
Fair enough.
At that time.
This one might actually be a little bit close. We got 2 for Gal right now and 1 for Lawrence Fishburne. And Sean McHugh went with Jeremy Irons. We've never had a bad Alfred, and Jeremy Irons was another fantastic addition to the lines of actors that played him.
Sure.
And I agree. I also have Jeremy Irons, to me, as the unsung hero of the movie. I thought his Alfred was fantastic and very little screen time. So we got 2 for Jeremy Irons, 2 for Gal Gadot, 1 so far for Lawrence Fishburne. Mark Gusick also went Jeremy Irons. I thought he was great. He always was the voice of reason, and I would like to see more screen time for him. So, Bob, who is your vote for the Unsung Hero Award?
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
That line about turning good men cruel and explain, like, questioning, why did you change your methods? What are you doing? You're killing. You're doing all this stuff. This is not how it. It's not how it is.
Right. Was great. And did he ever get to play Alfred in any other movie besides this one?
No, this was the first time.
I'm
sorry. He did it in Justice League.
Yeah, he's in Justice.
Oh, is he in Justice League?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's in Justice League.
Because that just bummed. Like they didn't make any solo movies with Batman with Ben Affleck.
No, the solo movie that was originally going to be with Ben Affleck and Matt Reeves. Yeah. Ben Affleck just opted out of doing it. And then it went to Pattinson.
It would have been so good, dude.
That was that
Affleck's Batman movie.
I would
been great.
kill for a trilogy of Affleck Batman.
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
Dude, that would have been great.
So sad that never came to fruition. That means that Jeremy Irons is going to win the Unsung Hero Award. All right, guys. Whether we loved the movie or we hated it, it's time to board the positivity train. And so here we have to talk about 3 things that you thought the movie did well, 3 things that were good, regardless of your feelings of the movie overall. Ryan, we'll start with you. What are your 3 favorite things about the movie?
My 3 favorite things about this movie would have to be, I don't know. I got 2. Look, I think Zack Snyder is a brilliant director. I think he's a freaking visionary director. I love Watchmen. I love Dawn of the Dead. I love 300. He got a bad hand for this. He tried to do what he wanted to do, and he got screwed. And we weren't talking about the extended cut, and I know that, but that's just it. Watch the 4-hour Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Watch the 3-hour Ultimate Edition of BVS. Vastly superior to this theatrical version. Stop messing with Zack Snyder. Just let him make his movies.
All right.
Other than that, Jeremy Irons is probably the best performance in the movie, as we all just did with the Unsung Hero. Jeremy Irons is Alfred. Loved every single scene with him as Alfred. Would love to see him as Alfred. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the music was good. The visual
There you
effects
go.
were
That's a
all
third
right.
one.
I don't know. Whatever.
Give it to Hans Zimmer.
Something.
All right. That's fine.
Big shout outs Jeremy Irons and Zack Snyder. That's where I'm going.
Adam Lofton went with Henry Cavill as Superman. Amazing job. Batman's new costume and the warehouse scene where he kicks like 15 guys' butts. It's literally the best Batman scene I've seen. So that's Adam's 3 favorite things. Kurt, what you got for me, buddy?
Superman.
Okay.
Batman. Wonder Woman. Look,
That was perfect.
Nice.
the whole thing with this movie for me was, you get to see all 3 of them in a movie together. It's the first, and I feel like the only one that did it great.
Yeah.
It's the only one that did it justice. I also will...
Doom.
Thank you. Now,
So you're saying it was the dawn of justice?
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to, and then to reflect on that, I will say the Batman scene where he fights is fantastic.
Yeah.
We talked about that. When Wonder Woman first shows up and she takes that blast for Batman, fantastic. I still love Superman in this movie as much as he's depressing.
Yeah.
Every fight scene, the fight scene between Batman and Superman, great. I love the moment that Batmobile comes around and slams into Superman.
Awesome.
It's fantastic.
No, that's awesome.
I love all of it.
All right, respect. Sean McHugh had lots of feelings about this. I'll try and get as much of this in as I can. This is like a huge paragraph. Batman, Superman's interactions. Every interaction between them was fantastic. Final confrontation aside from the terrible Martha line, that whole sequence was incredible. Showed that Batman did his homework. So I agree with that. Number 2, he says the brutality of Batman. This is a man who has truly been brought to the end of his rope. You can tell that the killing of Robin, however fleeting of a reference, drove him to this. I agree. I just wanted to see it.
Sure.
People complained that he didn't respect his no killing rule, yet they always forget that Keaton's version killed too. I hated it there also. I'm not letting Keaton off the hook. Personally, he loves it. Batman going 100%, not holding back in the warehouse scene. Awesome. Just like everyone's kind of insane. Number 1, casting. Aside from a few missteps, I think Snyder did an amazing job casting the DCEU, and this movie brought them all together for the first time. Affleck, Cavill are my favorite live action iterations of these characters, made me really hopeful for the future of the series until Whedon effed it all up. All right. Whedon. Sorry. When I say Whedon. You know. Anyway, here's my top 3 things. So I love the Batman warehouse scene. I said this is the best scene in the movie when we went through it. Perfect depiction of Batman beating up bad guys. Mm-hmm. Absolutely loved it. Ben Affleck himself as Batman is my favorite thing about the movie, aside from the killing. I take that out. I thought he was the best on-screen Batman of all time. And then Jeremy Irons. If you can't tell, I pulled all the Batman stuff out of the movie. I wanted a Batman movie so bad where it's Jeremy Irons, Ben Affleck, and scenes like that warehouse. Shoot it directly into my veins. I'm so bitter that it never happened. I'm so mad. And then we get Pattinson's, which was fine. It was fine. It wasn't like, I'm going to watch this movie 10 times. You know what I mean?
No, but take Penguin from that movie and put him with Batfleck.
That's what I'm saying.
That would have been amazing.
I would love to see a Zack Snyder, Ben Affleck Batman movie.
Yeah.
Great, dude. Mark Gusick said Cavill is Superman. One of his favorite things. I always thought he was a great Superman. The fact he didn't get to play him more is always a travesty. Hans Zimmer's score, great composer. This was no exception. And number 1, Batfleck. Thought he was an underrated Batman, and I enjoy his fighting scene in the warehouse, as that's how he's supposed to fight. I really would have enjoyed seeing a solo movie of his, and unfortunately that won't happen. I know, Mark.
There's still time. There's still time. People are begging for Zack Snyder to do the Dark Knight Returns comic graphic novel movie.
We'll see.
Do it. Get Cavill back.
But that's you're at the point. You're at the point where Burton and Keaton could do Dark Knight Returns.
Do it. I don't care.
Do it. I don't care. Either one of those people do it.
Mm-hmm. I'll take Sam Raimi and Maguire doing Spider-Man 4. Let people
bring it. Do it.
Make these other movies outside of the universe. I don't mind.
I will take him.
Yeah.
Bob, what's your 3 favorite things?
I think everybody here covered them all.
That's fine. But you can just restate them.
Wow. I'm with Ryan on this. I'm with Ryan on Snyder.
Okay.
I like his visuals. I like the way his characters look.
Yeah.
Affleck and Cavill all the way. They were awesome, and I love that warehouse scene.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Love it.
It's time, guys, to drop the mic, so to speak. It's time. Here's your final moment to make your case for the movie. Is it a bad movie, full stop? Meaning the critics were right and it's bad. No redeeming qualities. Or were the fans right? And maybe it's a bad movie because it's got some issues, but you think it rules because it's a lot of fun. Or do you think everyone is wrong? It's a good movie, full stop. Ryan, you get the first word here. What is your final rating of Batman versus Superman?
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice theatrical edition. Running at 151 minutes of hot garbage, right? The theatrical edition sucks because it becomes this hodgepodge of vision where it's like you have Snyder's vision, you have Chris Terrio, who's a very accomplished screenwriter, you have David S. Goyer, who can be an accomplished screenwriter, right? Like there's all this mishmash of what we're doing with the movie, and then it gets chopped to crap. Like the things about like there's so many black plates in this movie where it just cuts to black, cuts to black, cuts to black, and it's like, well, there should have been a scene there. There should have been a scene there. Lex Luthor's plot doesn't play out organically at all.
Right.
Does it feel more organic in the 3-hour version? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this was WB dropping the freaking ball. As we've all said before, they were trying to catch up to MCU.
Right.
And they dropped the ball. This is the first time that we get Batman and Superman in a movie together. That's a big moment.
Huge deal.
That is a huge deal. And here's the other thing as audience members too. We've come to expect this from superhero movies, where 20 years ago, sure, we watched like Bryan Singer's X-Men and was like, all right, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's not going to win Best Picture. It's not,
No, but I loved it.
But it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Right? Then there was like all of a sudden this moment in 2008 where you had Iron Man and The Dark Knight, which were very cinematic, like classic quality, like could hang with Shawshank Redemption, could hang with The Godfather, right? Now everyone has like, it's like almost every comic book movie that comes out is being held to that candle of like, oh, is this going to be the first Best Picture winning comic book movie?
Right.
No, like shut up about it. Just watch the damn movie.
Now they're like big CGI fests, yeah.
So it's like, for me, BVS was like good, but it sucked because it's like you just missed the mark.
All right.
That's all it is.
So what's the final rating, just for clarification?
It's
on the scale for posterity. We keep records here.
I know.
James just wants to hear
I
you
know.
say it.
You want to hear me say
I just
it?
want you to plant your flag.
You want me to hear me say it?
Plant your flag wherever
Go
you
ahead.
want. I'm not telling you what you can and can't do.
It's a bad movie.
There you go.
Full stop.
I think it's a bad movie, full stop.
All right. That's fair. I respect your opinion. Adam, and I thought it was well supported. Well said and well supported. So, Adam Lofton said, as a movie, I find it's a good movie, but it's on the borderline. But for me, it edges out to a good movie. So he's saying it's almost a BMR, but it's good. Fun, and he always hits us with these fun facts, why I love Adam. In World's Finest 143 in 1964 is when Batman and Superman first fought for the first time back in the 60s. Love it. All right, Kurt, the floor is yours.
No one's going to like me here.
Why do you say that?
Well,
You're
of course
right.
we'll like you. I may not like your opinion, but we like you.
Ryan survived.
Here's my thing. This is the first movie where Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman all show up. I bought it. I dug into it. It sucked me in. Mm-hmm. I'm still saying it today. I said it then. It's a good movie for me. It really is.
All right.
I enjoy this movie. I've watched it 3 or 4 times just in the last 2 weeks. I've enjoyed this movie. My kid loves this movie. We have bonded over it. I will watch it again tomorrow. I love this movie.
All right. I respect that. Like I always say, like what you like.
Yeah.
Right? Don't we've been doing this 150 episodes now. I've liked some stupid crap. Okay?
But I
Insult or what?
No, I'm saying I'm admitting that I also like stupid crap, which I guess is a way of saying you like stupid crap.
Yeah,
If
well,
you like PBS, but I didn't mean it that way.
I understand what Ryan's saying, but here's the thing.
Yes.
It totally opened up my eyes to Batfleck.
Yeah.
I mean, without this movie, we wouldn't have gotten the performance we did from Affleck in this
Right.
movie. And it was phenomenal. All three of us, at least on this side of the table, were like, we want this movie. We want to see a Batfleck movie. And
After this, the studio ordered a trilogy of them, and then none of them happened.
no. And I hope it still happens. It would be great.
There's still
But
time.
anyway, go ahead.
All right. Sean McHugh said, good movie. Zack Snyder is a divisive filmmaker. You either love him or hate him. Personally, I love him. I think he has great style. Yes, even the slow-mo stuff he puts in every film. This one is no different. But when it comes to comic movies, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation when it comes to translating the source material. People complained and they moaned about this darker version and how it wasn't faithful. I like the hodgepodge of story inspirations from The Dark Knight, The Death of Superman, and even Flashpoint, and thought they did a great job bringing them together. The heroes were well cast. People always judge this film by the Martha scene. And yes, it's not great, but it's a small part of an epic story. And for me, it doesn't detract from the experience. Screw the naysayers. I plant my flag. This is a good movie, and I wish Snyder and these actors were given the chance they deserved instead of being controlled by the studios to match the tone of Marvel. I think he's referring to Josh Whedon's Justice League there. Because this movie, certainly they weren't trying to match the tone of Marvel at all.
No, Joss Whedon's Justice League is horrible.
I did watch the Ultimate Cut as well, and yes, I watched almost 6 hours of this movie, and I agree with what Ryan Farrell said in the Daredevil episode. Let these directors make the film they want to make. It always turns out better. So there you go.
Wow, I can't believe I got a callback.
Called back quote from Farrell.
Congratulations.
So that's three good movie votes. Kurt,
Yes.
Sean, and Adam, and one bad movie straight up so far. Bob, as we throw it to you, where are you at on BVS?
How did Thor: Dark World?
Oh my God, he's bringing it back.
Full
What
circle.
about this movie?
How did Thor: Dark World and Captain Marvel become fresh? How did those two? I've seen some garbage movies, and those two are heaping piles of trash. And they say this is a bad movie, but those movies are great.
I'll watch Dark World.
I hated that movie. And Kat Dennings.
Meow meow.
Yeah. Brie Larson.
All right, I'd love to know what you think about this movie.
No, I'm just saying, I'm laughing.
I
I'm
got
laughing
you.
at
I got you.
the hypocrisy that is critics can't be bought and slander other films, which is very true. Because I still laugh at the constant perfect ratings on that whole side of the fence. But this is not at all a bad movie. This is a good movie, and the director's cut's even better. It's a great movie. Let people make their films. It's very simple. Studios, let people make their movies.
I agree.
That it's a good movie. It flirts with the. I agree with that guy says the line. It leans towards bad, brings back to good. And I'm like, no, this is good. Everybody's performance was great. I had a hard time finding a trash can, which I never do. It's usually pretty easy for me. Who the hell did I give the trash can to? I
You
don't
gave it to
remember.
Marco, the Russian Mark.
Yeah, I gave it to that guy, and he wasn't even all but bad. But I'm like, hey, they had to give it to somebody. Sorry, dude. Like Affleck, great. So far the most accurate portrayal of Batman on film. On film.
I agree.
Superman. Love it or hate Cavill's Superman. I love Man of Steel. I love him in this, and I love him in the next movie. I call this the Man of Steel trilogy because it literally follows Clark. Everybody else is supporting it. Literally follows Clark's journey all the way to the end of Justice League.
In the same way that Captain America is essentially the main character through all the Avengers films.
Exactly.
Right.
It literally just follows his journey.
Right. Because it was the same screenwriters from the Captain America movies wrote the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's why they kind of follow his story.
And they ended the event, and Endgame ended where it should have ended.
Yeah.
Having that dance. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
This is a great movie. I'm sorry I went on a
No,
tangent.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's why the microphone's yours.
Sorry for
It's your
swearing.
time. No,
I apologize.
Dude, it's okay. It's all right. Mark Gusick. This movie is like taking your dog for a car ride and leaving him unattended for 10 minutes while you run into the store for something. When you come back, there's a big pile of crap on the passenger seat that you have to clean up. At least it's one big pile, and the cleanup is pretty easy. So with that being said, this is a bad movie that rules, just barely missing being a good movie. So he's kind of saying the same thing. Teeters along that line, just barely missing being a good movie, though. Yes, the whole Martha thing is kind of silly, but honestly, I never even thought of that until this movie came out. Yes, Batman uses guns in this, but who cares? He did it in 1989 in his early comic book days, too, so I'm okay with it. So that's a first bad movie that rules. We've had 5 good movie votes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4
Bad movie.
4 good movies, 1 BMR, 1 bad movie straight up. Okay.
The ball's in your court.
The ball's in my court. And look, I know there's lots of people that, and even you have said, watch the Ultimate Edition. This movie was such a slog for me. The idea of sitting through 3 hours of this is I'm sure it's better. I've no doubt. I will never watch it. I'll never watch it because I can't do 3 more hours of this. I can't. This movie is a miracle because it contains 2 performances from lead actors. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I think I hate him being depressed, so I preferred him in Man of Steel, to this, and I haven't seen Justice League, but I like the actor a lot. And in this movie has contained within it the best performance of a Batman ever. Mm-hmm. So how does it have that and still just suck so hard? Mm-hmm. Because I lay all of this at the feet of the screenwriters. Zack Snyder is a talented visual director in that he has a clear style and a clear way, and he makes his guys look like Greek gods, and that's all cool, and it works well for superhero stuff. But he's not a writer-director. He's not one of those guys that will form a script and form it to his vision and marry it with an image. He is thinking visually. Okay. And so the reason this movie makes no damn sense is partially laid at the feet of the studio for the way they chopped it up, and partially it's at the feet of the screenwriters, which I mean, come on, 4 dream sequences, Batman working out to fight Superman, Lex Luthor's half-cooked scheme that doesn't really even come to fruition until the end when he's like, I'll just tell you this is what I did the whole time. All that stuff is so sucky. And the fact that, and the other part I'll lay at the studio's feet is the fact that they rushed all this. And yeah, it's our first time getting these 3 characters together, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. But they could have done that 2 or 3 movies later and we still would have had it. Give us the other stuff first. It all felt so rushed. Quick, let's go. We gotta catch up. And it just ends up being a total mishmash of nonsense. That said, because of all the Batman stuff, which I love, and as I pulled it all that out for my top 3 things, it's a bad, sucky-ass movie.
So it's a good movie that sucks.
No.
Oh.
It's a bad movie. But I'm saying it's a bad movie that rules because there was enough elements that I enjoyed on the Batman side of it. I hated depressed Superman. I can't watch a 3-hour movie of this. I can't do it. But the Batman stuff was so good that it rises it from bad movie that sucks to bad movie that rules. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it's at the bottom of that scale, not near the top where everyone else is flirting with that line. It's flirting with the other line for me between bad movie straight up.
I'm shocked they got a bad movie that rules.
Okay? It's strictly because of Ben. He saves this movie for me. But I would never watch this again. If someone's like, let's watch BVS, I go, let's watch literally anything else.
Let's watch Captain Marvel.
Okay?
That's what's Robert.
I would watch Captain Marvel again before I watched BVS.
You know what we could do?
I would not.
We could watch BVS Ultimate Edition and do it on Good Movies rule.
No.
It's a good movie.
I don't want to watch it ever again. So that's my final take. I think all of the hate is warranted, but it's not warranted in any of the actors or even Zack Snyder, even though I like to give him crap about some of the stuff he does. It's the screenwriters and it's the studio. Take the full blast from these cannons I'm firing at it right now. Do you know what I'm saying? Right?
It's a matter.
Does that make sense?
It's literally a matter of like when you think back and think of like Akiva Goldsman's screenplay for Batman and Robin.
Right.
Right? Like the movie visually. I'll watch Batman and Robin because it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Schumacher shoots the crap out of his Batman movies.
Yes.
A lot of nipples.
A lot of nipples. A lot
of naked statues.
A lot of
I
naked
wanna see
statues.
Batman driving down a dong.
You know what? I'll watch Batman drive the Batmobile down a dong. But it does. It always comes back to the screenplay. It does.
All right. No, it does.
Good old dong driving.
And that's why, not to keep bringing it back to the MCU, but that's why those movies killed, because that Christopher Marcus and is it McFeely?
Stephen McFeely. Yeah.
And but those 2 guys, that's the reason it slapped.
But they took their time.
And they took their time, but the scripts were good.
Yes.
And the MCU movies that sucked, like Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel and Dark World or whatever, had weak scripts. Do you know what I mean? And so you need both. It can't just look awesome. And there are parts of BVS that looked freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, next week we're moving on. We're talking
it's still
now.
a good movie.
About-
Ultimately, is what
I'm playing
it
to my
came down
flag.
to.
It's a good
Episode
movie.
and I'm interested to hear what y'all think. Hit us up. You know the email address. Defend BVS.
Call me.
If you want to defend BVS, defend it. If you want to jump in and go, yeah, it sucks. We want to hear from you guys too. Let's do it. In the meantime, we're going to move on. Episode 151 is on the horizon, and we got to roll through the next 50 to get to episode 200.
Yes.
Because episode 200, man,
It's Justice
you
League.
guys are going to be so pumped about what we're doing for episode 200.
What are we
already
doing
have
for
it
episode
planned?
200?
As you guys know, all of our movies are pulled randomly by the BMR supercomputer, just spits it out. But the big ones, episode 50, I pulled that one, Big Trouble Little China.
Yes.
Episode 100, we picked what we're doing. We did Mummer Man, right?
Yeah.
Episode 150, we picked. We're like,
Yeah.
we're doing Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
And so we're picking episode 200, and I'll just let you guys know now what it's going to be. Because why wait a year? That's
It's
almost
the Notebook.
No. That's almost a year from
Barbie.
now. Okay? No.
Damn it.
Here's what we're doing almost a year from now in 2025, probably be sometime in February, early March maybe, of next year. We are going to be talking about Armageddon for episode 200.
Yes.
Okay?
I thought we
Awesome.
already did that one.
No, we haven't done Armageddon yet.
Oh my
We gotta
gosh.
wait a whole year for Armageddon.
Yes, we're doing episode 200, Armageddon, another Ben Affleck movie.
I got to watch that one.
Will Patton,
Don't want to close my
Bruce Willis, Will
Billy
Patton,
Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton,
Billy Bob Thornton.
Owen Wilson,
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
Michael Clark Duncan, Liv Tyler,
Ken Hudson Campbell.
that's right, William Fincher,
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. No, if anybody, I'd be Chewbacca. You'd be Chewie, and come on.
Chewie, have you seen Star Wars? Talking
I
like we're
can't.
telling a
All right.
secret.
And I'm picking 200, and I'm only doing it for Ryan Farrell because Ryan Farrell has been asking me to do Armageddon since we started this podcast.
I have.
And so I don't want to listen to it for another 5 years. We're going to get to it. And now you don't have to ask anymore because now you know when it's happening.
All right. I'll plan on March of 2025.
Armageddon.
2025.
Armageddon out of here. Get a sitter because Stephanie's going to be there too. I know she's been wanting to do Armageddon. We're going to have a full house in for that day. Probably 5 people in for that one. Stephanie and Ryan, and we'll see who else for episode 200. Meantime, next week, episode 151 is going to be a Sean Connery and Dennis Quaid movie from the 90s called Dragonheart. I don't know if anyone's ever seen
I've seen
Dragonheart, where Sean
No, I saw
Connery
Dragon Wars.
is the face.
Well, you were forced to watch that one, huh?
We'll never speak of that again.
Fair enough.
If you ever bring up Dragon Wars, we're talking about Dragonheart.
Dragon Heart.
This is Dennis Quaid on a horse. And Sean Connery is the voice of a dragon, and he's magical.
All right.
Okay?
I'm a dragon.
That's right.
Ah,
Oh, I'm just running panic.
Where's money print?
get some coleslaw.
Shuck it, Trebek. All right.
Play with my tail.
So, join us next week for Dragonheart. I think it was 1996, and we'll be off and running all the way to episode 200, where we finally get to tackle
I'll be waiting.
Armageddon.
I'm
just
picking
gonna
two.
be
We're not
waiting
going to
in the
have him
weeds.
back on the show until then, so Ryan gets 50 episodes off
I have a whole year.
to prepare.
I'm picking 250 episode. The 250th episode right now I'm picking is Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
I am gonna trash.
There's no way. We'll do it, but
No,
not
we're
as
doing
250.
it. It's a deserving bad movie that rules.
The problem is you have to do Captain Marvel on good movies rule
Yeah.
based
No.
on the criteria.
I don't give a crap about the criteria.
Certified
Critics
fresh.
were bought. They paid for it.
Certified fresh.
No, it's
Yeah.
not certified bullshit.
Above the IMDb demarcation line.
No, it's not.
So-
it's
Yeah,
at
it is.
6.3.
Is that a 6.8?
6.8.
What?
Yeah.
Ha!
Yeah, I got to get out of here. My cape needs to be dry cleaned.
Perfect. So we'll catch you guys on the next one.
5 minutes. Snyder made the best Batman.
Way better than Nolan's.
Absolutely. Nolan had better villains.
And Christian Bale wishes he was as big as Ben.
Stare at a wall.
Where's the trigger?
You would never give it to an ordinary citizen. Where is it? Where is the trigger?
You imagine if Christian Bale had been in this?
Oh my God.
Let me ask you something. Do you bleed?
You will. I just want to say this. I made this for my cat.